Welcome back, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that intro video. I'm still not quite used to it being there yet, but I always enjoy it. But let's jump into tonight's session. All right. Last we met, the Wayward Five still struggled to fully reunite their party, as the four companions witnessed the vast frontline battlefields of the Quintarchy and Durin War. They saw endless mazes, moving formations, and a vast pillar of black smoke in the distance. Determined to find their friend Cal, our heroes debated whether to sneak through the endless earthwork trenches or move up the mountainside, adding a day or so to their journey. They chose the mountain. During this time, Arctos Fortis, the Cal's commanding officer in the Ferrum Tress unit, introduced him to an important individual, Governor Oriel Clay, an Oxland-born human of significant authority within the Gwyn Empire. He had masqueraded days earlier as a foot soldier when Cal had rescued him from the Oxland front lines. Fortis was withholding of Oriel Clay's importance, but he ordered Cal to return Clay to the capital city of Honduras, Vermilcia, where he was meant to serve as a diplomat. Later that evening, Timber witnessed a massive artillery attack on the Enduran trenches. A massive trebuchet launched what amounted to 24 fireball spells across the sky to strike the trench lines, setting massive fires. It lit up the glittering night. The Wayward Five, during this time, each felt the destruction of this war from their own perspective. Huron commented on the way this conflict twists Gwyn industry into a new, endless war machine that now stands before them, comparing it even to the legendary battles of the Morrisir conflict. Even later, Huron finds himself awakened by a sense of dread and gravity. He reaches into his bag of holding and feels a yearning to see the pallid mask he possesses. This dangerous artifact is one of many that have been following the Wayward Five throughout their adventures. And only Timber knows that Huron possesses this one. He resists its temptations and hides it away. Keep it from the party. The next day, our heroes trekked across the forests and found themselves face to face with the horrors of no man's land. They saw what amounted to an unearthed graveyard as the stench swept through them, and the true horror and destruction of this war was laid bare. That night, right before they were to cross the Enduran line, the party was captured by Enduran scouts, who imprisoned them after Wiswick cast a wall of force and fled on his own, fearing that the soldiers would take his arcane core. The party complies after this, and they are brought before Arcos Veterix, another Gwyn captain. She brings them up the line towards Fortis's camp to seek out answers from Cal regarding his friends who claim to know him. An awkward reunion occurs as Cal helps his friends, all the while in disbelief they made it to him. It seems the party and Cal's missions align, as Huron explains they must go south, Tharathris, otherwise known as the Beastlands, to find the Fields of Glass. Arcos Fortis gives Cal permission to include the Wayward Five on his mission to escort Governor Clay south. In the process, Huron witnesses Fortis use magic to read the thoughts of a wounded mage who had lost both hands and tongue to the Quintarchy. Discovering a much greater attack was coming soon, more than just fireballs from the sky. The Wayward Five, now reunited, planned their departure as they wait for Wiswick to make his way back to them. Cal questions Kieran and why they came all this way just for him. The cleric assures him and the party that they are important to all of this, chosen champions of Ilyavania. There is comfort in his words as Wiswick joins you all at the supply depot. The dusky late morning fog rolls in, and while you joke and properly rip on Wiswick for his actions, Kieran notices lights in the sky through the thick ice fog. A firebombing rains down on the support line. Fires erupt, screams echo. You notice the ringing of bells in the distance towards the front line as you are struck by 2 fireballs. Kieran has fallen. The rest of you struggling to your feet as some form of skirmish seems to be commencing. Now, you are not immediately in combat. You, being on the support line of the trenches, it is strange enough that an artillery strike could have reached you. Curious, even. This has not happened at all since you've been here, Cal. But fire begins to rip through the wood and cloth of the dugouts and the supplies. You still hear the bells echoing from across the wastes, heavy set with ice fog. You could barely see anything beyond the grounds between the trenches. Combined with the dusk dark of a long dark afternoon, your vision seems to shrink to only a couple dozen feet. If it weren't for the piercing fire of the attack, you might not have even seen it coming. How can their artillery reach the second line? You hear shouting on the horizon, clashing of steel, and the violent glitter of magic is apparent behind the fog in the trenches ahead. The bells continue to ring, and then there's silence. What do you do?
First things first. So Cal rolls to his feet, pretty fucking badly damaged. He took 2 shells, pretty close. First things first, I look around and make sure Governor Clay is alive.
Governor Clay is alive.
Excellent. Second, I check the rest of my folks here. You don't have to tell me because I know that Kieran is down.
Kieran is on fire.
I have a potion. I have a potion. I immediately dive for Kieran. So I can feed it to him.
Pretty much,
grab
we're all jumping on Kieran, like patting him down.
Yeah, I imagine the whole group is clustering around Kieran, putting fires out as Scarlet is shakily pouring a health potion down his throat. We'll go ahead and roll the healing.
Yep.
While we're doing that, Cal would look to Timber and Wiswick to get a sense of how damaged they are, if they're damaged.
Wiswick is completely unharmed, and you do see a 12-foot tall construct out of nowhere is standing above him, completely made of rock, covered in has these etched runes across it, and it has that orb you saw him carrying, or the gem big gem you saw him carrying embedded in its chest right now. Timber, did you take much damage?
Looks really banged up.
He took some. He looks pretty
14,
singed,
Kieran.
like fur is singed, but it's not a critical state.
Okay. So Cal would. So as we're all clustered around Kieran, only one, perhaps two of us is helping. So Cal would look up and go, "Wiswick, Timber, that way. Make sure they don't get to us before we can get Kieran up." Pointing towards the trench.
Okay.
Not saying get into. Stay in this trench. Stay in this line, but don't get in there. Hold them off if they come. I would then go over to Clay, seeing that Kieran has been fed the health potion and that he's no longer on fire. I would head over to Clay and find like a dugout or like something, even if it's like just a pile of crap, and I would just shove him down behind it.
Yeah, so if you want, Alex, you can open up the battle map now so people can see it.
Yeah.
There are plenty of places for Wiswick to find cover. There are plenty of barricades. There is sort of it's you probably aren't going to want to throw them in the depot there because it is on fire.
Okay, so somewhere else behind something.
Yeah.
There's even right up ahead of you next to a hand ballista. There is a little barricade that you can put that Wiswick can go to.
Not Wiswick, Clay.
Clay, sorry. You kept saying Clay, and I was like, Wiswick. Oh no. Yeah.
You've done this to yourself, Sean.
I did, and it's funny because I was writing my notes and I was like, why did I do this? Yeah, you can easily find. There's definitely places where Clay can find cover.
Okay. I'm shoving him there unmercilessly, not gently.
Okay.
It's like, get the fuck down.
All right.
Yeah.
I will put a mini out for him.
Timber also
Sean,
is.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Timber is also taking Cal's orders, and he is aggressively grabbing Wiswick and dragging him with him.
Smart.
And no, because Timber's still pissed at you, and he's going to say, "Listen to orders."
I do like the idea that Timber's dragging Wiswick, but not dragging because Wiswick's so small. He's just carrying him.
Yeah.
As you're carrying Wiswick, you hear the loud like behind you as the construct is just slowly following you, and following wherever Wiswick goes.
I still have a healer's kit. I think I've used it before, so maybe I have like half a healer's kit. Is there anything I can do that would help cure?
Healer's kits are used to stabilize people, not to heal them, actually. Unless you get the healer feat.
Third things third, Sean.
Never mind.
Yes.
Is there anything in this depot that would be either explosive, I guess is what I'm looking for?
You could go and investigate the trebuchet to see if there are any fire bombs there.
Okay. Then I'll visually check it. I don't want to go over there. I would just visually check to see if that's on fire.
Yeah. Go ahead and give me a perception check.
Okay. 13 plus whatever. Hang on. 17.
Okay. You would be able to glance over, and you would see that the trebuchet is not on fire, but there is burning debris. A burning cart is close to the trebuchet that may need to be put out. Over time, it will light the trebuchet on fire.
Okay, but that's down the priority list now.
Yeah.
So
just letting you know the lay of the land. With that, generally, I'll say, like, as far as like assets you have to you have the stockpile of ammunition for a trebuchet that was due to be decommissioned or moved forward. You have a ballista that is a hand ballista that can be operated by two people to your left near the opening of the trenches that leads into the trenches that can shoot downward towards people oncoming. Everything else is on fire.
Okay. Well, I would return to Kieran at this point.
Okay.
Make sure that he's alive and the rest of everyone is in place.
Is there anything I can do to help put fire out?
No, because you only make fire.
Eat it.
Produce fire, not control.
Yeah.
All right.
Kieran,
you are awake.
Returning and kneeling down in front of him.
Oh, by the crescent heart, what have we got ourselves into?
There's an attack on the lines. Do you have anything ready that could heal me? My left arm is, and I hold it up, and it's like really. I'm at 1 HP, just so everyone knows.
Oh,
It's
God.
like, it's like
Yeah,
black.
his arm is charred.
Yeah.
It is significant burns.
Kieran reaches out a hand, reaches out his left hand. No, it doesn't matter. And puts it over Cal's wound and casts Cure Wounds at 4th level.
Ooh.
Because we want our fighter boy. Oh.
All right, go ahead and roll that heal. You are still not in initiative yet, as the battle seems to be ahead and not reached you yet.
16 points of healing.
Thank you.
All right.
Don't thank me. It was really bad.
All right.
I mean, that's pretty even, actually.
You heard the quiet across the way. You are now starting to hear murmurs and clamoring within the trench down the line towards the entrance to the trenches, the retreat entrance. You hear a loud explosion as a tripwire has been triggered up ahead. You can see the brief light of it and hear the debris go flying out as it starts to rain down on you all. You didn't see it's very disturbing because you don't see it through the fog. You just see debris shoot out and start rolling across where you are currently.
Cal would say to Kieran, "Thank you, brother," and pat him on the shoulders and go, "Join when you can," and race over to Timber and Wiswick.
Cal, what do you need me to do?
With me! Hey, running away.
I run after him. Well, before I do that, Kieran, are you all right?
A hand, please, as he plants his staff in the ground and reaches out his hand.
Yep, definitely help him up. I wish I had more.
It's all right. I'm just not as young as I used to be, he says as he puts the staff like down in a walk. Instead of leaning on it, it's now not touching the ground as he strides forward with a purpose.
When you all get to the entrance of the trenches from this position, there is robust fire all around this area. The wood is scorched. The trench lines are scorched. There is currently dugouts burning. It is a very dangerous spot to be in. You can see down the line, because the entrances and exits are not right in front of each other. What? They're not amateurs. Down the line, you can see there is a unit that is defending the next opening where you heard the explosion coming from.
Okay.
Wiswick is gonna look towards his golem companion, his arcane core, and speak to it and say, in his own language, the Snurfnabla language, "You're looking pretty banged up. Perhaps you can do something to help that's not so combat heavy? Maybe take out some of these fires? Do you think you can handle that?"
You see the construct just sort of stares down at you, and its head just kind of cocks, and then it just sort of, unless it's speaking, the only noise it makes is the creaking of the stone against each other. It's almost its own kind of like purring noise as it just starts to, and you see it's just smacks its hands down into the fires over and over again, destroying things as much as it is slowly putting the fires out, but it is putting fires out.
Whoa. A little gentler, okay? Just a little bit.
Cal wants to get towards the entrance of the trench if we can make it through the fire. I'm not gonna, run through the fire, but
you may need to wait until the construct has put the fire out sufficiently. Currently, you're kind of like looking over the burning barricades as they're slowly being put out. You can absolutely help a little bit if you want, just sort of using tarps or cloaks or whatever to pat things out. But you can see there is, they're forming a line. You have flanking archers moving. You can see they're doing what they're supposed to be doing up there. They're not routed.
Yeah. That's what I needed to do. I needed to make sure that we were.
They're not panicking. They've put out the fires in their immediate vicinity. They are now getting ready to defend. They have not been routed.
I'm up with you, Cal.
Huron, seeing the battle ahead, goes, "We might need a little blessing from the Crescent Hot right now." And he plants his staff in the ground and channels his divinity, creating his Twilight Sanctuary.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Nice. Okay. All right. For the time being, are you just going to hold this position as the fires are slowly being put out, or is anyone going to crawl? Because you could crawl over the trench and get in if you wanted to.
I think Timber would actually.
Yeah, I think Wiswick would go with him.
Okay. All right. So you two are crawling over the trench. Both of you give me quick acrobatics checks.
Can I give them some temp HP before they head over?
Yeah, I'll allow that.
Awesome. Alright.
Almost
Can-
got 20.
can I-
Timber, you get 12 temp HP. Wiswick, you
Oh.
get 13 temp HP.
Ooh.
Okay. And what? That brand new Twilight Sanctuary that gives you your cleric level with it too is nice.
Oh yeah.
What were your? Let's see. Timber, what was your roll?
Got a 10. I got a natural 1.
Oh.
Natural 1. Okay. And Wiswick, what was your roll?
11. Take that.
All right. Okay. Timber, what's your AC?
It's 18.
18? Okay. It doesn't quite hit you. It's a glancing blow as it sort of strafes against you as you feel kind of like slice against your cheek. This just a very sharp magical beam that just sort of flies across, cutting your cheek. And it will deal 8 points of piercing damage.
Okay. That's halved, right?
That is already halved.
Okay.
Wiswick, luckily for you, his natural 1 completely covered you, and you just kind of crawled up and rolled over and slid down into the trench. So you two are now in the line. The rest of you are waiting for the fire to be put out.
Tactical roll.
Okay. We're going to go into actual initiative now. So everyone roll initiative since the timer is up.
Excellent.
Okay. 20 to 25.
26.
21.
Nice. What's your dexterity?
+4.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. What'd you get, Timber?
21.
What? Nice. Okay. 15 to 19.
15.
Okay. And 10 to 14.
A 10.
I got a 13. It says 16 on the dice roll, but it's my initiative's
Oh, it's
up
messed up.
because-
Yeah.
Yeah, it adds dexterity, which I shouldn't get.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So, what you would see now is the soldiers are lined up, defending that entrance. You could see some lights now through the fog, and you now can really hear the raiding group. You can hear they are commencing their push. As you can see, Timber and Wiswick, you can see a group of soldiers have collided with the front combatants at the opening of the trenches. Scarlet, you are up. Oh, Wiswick, does your construct? Did we decide if he operates on your initiative or does his own?
I believe we thought for ease it would just be mine, but I don't care either way.
No, let's do it for ease and do it on yours.
Okay.
All right, Scarlet, you are up, and an enemy is on deck, and then Timber's on deck.
Okay. Would I have just seen Timber and Wiswick jump through the fire?
They didn't jump through the fire. They crawled over into the trench.
Did I see them do that?
Yes.
Cool. All right, I'm gonna take a look at Cal and kind of jerk my head towards the fire, and I'm gonna use my bonus action to command my snake to wrap around my arm. And as soon as that has solidified, I want to somersault dive through the fire there to get to the other side.
I have to give you temp HP before you do that.
Okay.
Okay. Give me an acrobatics check. Scarlet, are you going through the fire?
Is there another way to go?
Well, yeah, you can crawl over into the trench, or you can go straight through the fire.
I
Aren't you
already said
resistant to the fire?
Exactly. It's cooler. I go through the fire.
Okay. Give me an acrobatics check.
13.
Thank you. It was a 22.
22. Nice. Okay, so you take 4 points of fire damage.
Is that already halved?
It is not halved for your resistance, so go ahead and have it. Okay, so you push through, and you're now on the other side of the fire. Closer. Okay. Anything else?
I would like to hold my action for anybody that gets within range. In range, I'm gonna have my my Fierce Soul Hammer out,
Okay.
and that's it.
All right, so you're just defending in that position for now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, excellent. Okay. All right, so Timber and Wiswick, you watch as there's this skirmish happening in front of you. You see there are soldiers trying to flank the position up on the upper portions of the trench. You do see there are crossbowmen and archers, though, that are taking care of them. For the most part, as you're watching it, the soldiers are doing a good job of holding this position until you hear things quiet down for a moment, as you can hear a heavily armored individual marching through the mud of the trenches, and you can hear the clanking of it. It's I'll use my one early tonight. It's like when Sauron appeared on the battlefield, and you would hear unintentionally, also like Sauron, a swinging of a large weapon. You can see kind of the edges of it. It's an axe, and you can see the front line just gets blasted by it. Now, they don't die, but they all get knocked back as this axe swings through them, and you can see a powerful force boom, a booming blade, if you will, hits a whole bunch of them, knocking them all back as you see this tall knight step out. They are wearing all black armor. They have a tabard on that is very reminiscent of the color and sigils of General Kinsley's house. You might be encountering one of his super soldiers.
Do we have a nickname for these, Sean?
Grist Knights.
Okay. Thank you.
That was the men dying.
Okay. All right, that is the Grist Knight's turn. Timber, you are up, and then an enemy is on deck, and then Cal is on deck.
After getting hit and helping Wiswick down from the top of the trench, Timber's going to see this, apply a bonus action hex to it. Actually,
Okay.
yeah, I'll do that. Get in front of Wiswick and take out the bow and
Okay, so you're gonna go for a an attack with Crimson Bow on it.
yes, I'm gonna expel one of the charges too.
Okay.
It's just a 19 to hit.
19. Where am I doing? Monster. 19 does not hit.
Okie doke. I'm gonna use my second attack. Expel a charge again. 21.
That'll hit.
Okie dokie. So that's 10 piercing plus. Sorry, give me one moment.
No problem.
Plus 21 necrotic.
What was the first amount?
10
The
piercing.
10 piercing. Okay.
31
10
total.
Piercing.
Unless he's resistance to that.
He's not because it's a magical weapon. All right, so you see as this hulking figure rushes in and just starts swinging his axe wildly, knocking soldiers left and right as you see these shockwaves echo out from the axe. You fire an arrow, shadow arrow appears in the bow and flings across, piercing right between the rivets of his armor. As you see, he does not seem to react at all, but you know that your arrow found purchase and dealt damage. Anything else on your turn?
That is all.
Okay. All right. So you
Actually,
watch...
I take that back.
Go ahead.
Is there any like wooden debris or like walls kind of around? Could I take cover?
Yeah, there are definitely some spots where you can lean up close to the wall where there's some collapsed wood or there's some remains of a dugout. I'd say you can get you can move into a position and get half cover.
Perfect. Yeah, wherever that exists. I mean, but not. I don't want to change my displacement from, like that. Perfect.
Yeah.
And he might motion to Wiswick to get over there.
Okay. And Wiswick can do that on his turn. Actually, if people are cool with trying something new, okay. I'm thinking of experimenting with us expanding reactions to allow for call and reaction, essentially, where if someone says "get over here," someone can use their reaction to use movement speed to get over.
Get over here.
Get over here!
Yeah,
You
I
just
like
have
that.
to be conscious and make sure you're keeping track of it, because then once it's on your turn, you have to use that amount of movement speed.
Okay.
I like it.
Wiswick, if you'd like, you can use the reaction to run over and join Timber in cover.
Sure, why not?
All right, excellent. You are tightly packed together behind a little bit of debris and broken logs. Okay. So you see this Gris Knight is now looking over directly at you two. It did see you. It sees Scarlet past you. It is turning its eyes completely away from the soldiers it's fighting. You see one comes rushing forward and tries to slice at it, but he just sort of lets it hit his armor, and it barely does anything as he starts to move towards you all. But before he does that, you would see a blue light emanating from the trench behind him, and you would see a blast of freezing cold magic. Glittering, a bright glowing sapphire rips through. It puts out all the fires around, and but it just blasts into these soldiers as a cone of cold has been launched from the trench, confirming that there is probably a battle mage in that line, as it takes out probably a good half of the fighters in this position. You can see there are more approaching from down the trench line, but the current line is been reduced significantly right now. Cal, you are up.
Okay. I would run up and along the trench lip before jumping in, preferably in front of where Timber and Wiswick are currently.
Okay. Yeah, you can get right in front of Wiswick.
Yeah, let's do that.
I'll just ask you to give me a quick acrobatics check.
18.
Okay. You see a magic missile rail fire past you, but you just sort of like just miss you as you slide down and are in front of Wiswick now.
So I'd land there, and is there one of the alarm bells nearby?
I would say yes, there is. It's a little bit behind you towards the lip of the entrance to the or exit really of the trench.
So I should have asked beforehand.
Yeah, I mean, if you want, though, I'll allow you to ring it before you run up to.
Yeah, I was
Wiswick.
I was gonna ring the emergency alarm.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
the things are not fine here.
Yeah.
Alarm, please help.
Absolutely.
And then
The
go
original silence that you heard after the bells at the front line rung has now been echoed as Cal has rung the emergency bell of this line, hoping for reinforcements.
And then I would do this.
Go for it.
And I would land there, and I'd point my sword right at the knight, as if trying to draw his ire away from the other soldiers.
Okay. Okay.
And I would yell for the sake of, I'm not going to yell into this microphone for everyone, but I would yell for the sake of the troops there, Odoris! Odoris Invictus! Just so they would hear me. And
Excellent.
so they have somewhere to rally on, hopefully.
Go ahead and give me a performance check.
Okay.
Good job not yelling too.
It actually was not that bad.
Little, but
No,
I
it wasn't that bad,
You're
actually.
using the wrong
Yeah.
dice.
What?
You're using the wrong dice.
What are you talking about? Oh, the
It-
fucking thing.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Digital dice.
I forgot about those because I hate them very dearly. 13, which is so much worse than what I fucking rolled. Shannon, thanks.
Forgot to do the homework.
It's okay. It's okay. Cal, actually, since these are your sort of countrymen and this is your line, I'll give you advantage.
Thanks. Let's use these stupid dice. They're gonna fuck me harder, I bet you. Oh,
Yes,
look.
the ones that are actually randomized.
Yeah, the one that actually randomized. Yeah.
What'd you get?
13.
Okay, so what I will say is the soldiers, while they are a
18,
little
by
bit,
the way, on my actual dice, just so everyone knows.
while the soldiers themselves are a combination of your shouting and the approaching small reinforcements, it's just sort of who else was in this line coming to
Yeah.
the front. I'll say you do draw the ire of the Grist Knight, and that does bring a little bit more confidence into the soldiers as they start to brace themselves to face this battle mage.
Did I get any temp HP from before?
Oh,
yeah,
you
I
should've.
threw it in chat. It was 16. Yeah, you got full.
Ooh, thank you.
Ooh,
Nice,
baby.
nice. All right, Wiswick, you're up. Huron, you're on deck.
Because I saw a cone of cold come out of nowhere, do I have a good estimate to where this battle mage is?
Yes, they are at least so anywhere between 5 and 60 feet. Well, probably less actually, because the zigzag of the trenches would break their line of sight. So you would assume they're probably between 20 and 30 feet from that spot.
Could I somehow get a line of sight on them if I climb up a trench and peek over?
You could. You would be risking if there's any support, long range attackers. They could potentially hit you if you climb up.
Okay.
Yeah,
What
consider
can I
this.
see
There's
within
a
the-
lot of environmental effects of this fight, where there are long range enemies that you really can't go fight, that are beyond the fog of war, so to speak.
Right. Okay. What can I see within the trench? Pretty much
Within the
just,
trench, you can see the Grist Knight and you can see a few enemy soldiers behind him. Because there are, besides the Battle Mage and the Grist Knight, there are other raiders from the Quintarchy.
Any chance I could aim behind it so I don't hit my own men with something that has an AoE damage of
What
about
are you-
20 feet?
What are you firing off? 20 feet? If it's 20 feet, then yes, you can. You'd have to come out of cover a little bit. So, you only use 10 feet of movement to get into cover, so you still have 15 feet. So you could come out of cover to do that and then go back in if you wanted to.
Sweet, let's give an old classic, the old fireball.
Excellent. Are you doing any wacky stuff to it?
Absolutely. We're gonna go with the alchemical casting, and we're gonna make it a giant acid ball, because, people can't see that in all this fog, so maybe they won't be too intimidated, at least from a distance.
And that is a 20-foot radius?
Yes, 20-foot radius, 96. I'll drop a first level spell to give it an extra D10.
Go for it. Right, yeah, that's actual saving throws for these guys. Okay.
Oh yeah, saving throw. I'm gonna say it's. I guess I could keep it as dexterity, or maybe I want to do something different. Keep it as dexterity.
Okay. The first, the Grist Knight got a 10, so he failed.
Nice. DC is 17.
Okay. The Battle Mage made their save. And then the soldiers there made their save as well. So go ahead and roll damage. The Grist Knight will take... Oh, wait. Sorry. Grist Knight has advantage on magical saving throws. Grist Knight made their save with a natural 20.
Oh my god. Alright, that's sad.
Yeah, I forgot they have advantage.
I tried to roll. Eventually, D&D Beyond will catch up with me.
Yeah, absolutely. Curon, you're on deck, by the way, just so you know.
One day, I'll get it. It's coming. Alright, it just took my spell slot away. Hold on. Alright, I hit it like 18 times. I don't know what's going on.
You don't hit the... You have to do a custom... Or you do it on the...
No, I have to hit the effect. That's my bad. I
Yeah,
was hitting
yeah,
the
you have to hit...
button and it was just giving me an extra...
Oh, yeah, you gotta hit the actual damage number.
Okay, so that's a big 23, and then I gotta roll a D10
Yeah, then add
to
the
add to
D10.
that. Or was it a D12? What's the thing?
The D10, I think.
It's been so long. No, it's better than that. First level 2D10.
Okay, go ahead.
Roll. I got a 9 and a 7. Hot.
Hey, nice.
So that's 16 plus 23 is 39 acid damage.
Excellent. Okay.
And
All
how
right,
many
so
units did I hit?
So you hit... there's several units you don't see that you hit also. As this acid... this ball of acid flings out, and you can see it kind of like slowly growing as it pushes towards them, dripping down as you can hear it singeing against the soil. And then you watch it just sort of explodes out, and you can hear the singeing, the burning, the fumes of the wood and earth of the trench works. As you can see, the Grist Knight just takes it as it just hits him, and you can see his armor starts to fume and singe, and you can see it corroding away. The tabard, the Kinsley Estate tabard, is burning away off of it as it's sort of blowing in the wind. As you can hear some screams from the trench itself, as some soldiers have been getting a wicked acid burn in there.
I take the rest of my movement to go back into cover.
Excellent. You are back in cover with Timber. Huron,
Next
you
up-
are... Oh, you got something else?
My golem's diffusing fires.
Okay, go
If
ahead
there
and
is
just...
any.
Yeah, I'll say it's not even a check. I'm just going to say he's continuing to put out fires. I'll say he's moved onward to here. In front of Curon as he's putting out the... I'll say before Curon's turn, he puts out the fire in Curon's way.
Okay, sweet. For next round, I have a different command, maybe.
Okay.
I guess I'll save it.
No problem. All right. Curon, you are up now. Scarlet, you're on deck.
All right, so my Curon, couldn't get the name right, is gonna move up, and as he passes by Wiswick's golem, he's gonna like reach out and like pat him on the arm and be like, "Oh, thank you very much, a friend of." I don't know that voice. Thank you very much, a friend of Wiswick's is a friend of mine. Good work. As he walks around the barricade.
Friend of Master Netherrock is friend to me.
Oh.
You don't understand any of that.
It does actually respond in just garbly good to you, because he's speaking secret deep gnomish.
To which
haven't taught
Curon
him
would just
common
be
yet.
like, okay.
That's true, you haven't taught it common. So yeah, it would...
He said thank you.
Oh, you understand? Okay. As Kieran walks past Scarlet, I think just 5 feet, do I have a clear line of sight on either entity?
You have a clear line of sight in the Grist Knight.
Okay. Where are you? Is he within 60 feet? No, he's not.
Yeah, he's just out of range of 60 feet. He's 65 feet away. You have more movement. You have enough movement. You can step forward one and be in range.
Okay, then. Sorry, yeah, I'll step forward 1.
Yeah, you have one more square of movement, so you can definitely get just within range.
Cast Spiritual Weapon at 4th level.
Excellent.
Putting that up by him and making an attack. Oh no. For a 14 to hit.
That does not hit.
Oh, you don't say. And then just for shits and giggles, we're gonna Toll of the Dead on him. He needs to make a Wisdom saving throw, DC 17.
Wisdom save. Okay.
Ring it ding.
Rolled a natural 18.
Okay. And that'll end Kieran's turn.
All right, excellent. So as you rush forward, greeting the construct before you rush out, you summon forward that crescent moon spiritual weapon glaive. It is extraordinarily reminiscent of your staff at this point. And the Grist soldier resists the Toll the Dead as you can hear that bell ringing in the air as he kind of shakes his head and recommits himself to rush forward. All right.
Sean, I forgot to say it earlier. I would have readied an attack because I didn't
Yeah.
use an action. Okay.
Sure, I'll allow that. Okay. Anything else, Kieran?
No,
That's
that
all?
ends my turn.
All right, Scarlet, you are up.
Okay. These other soldiers that are next to the knight, are those our soldiers or no?
Those are your soldiers, yes.
Okay. All right. I would like to move up 10 feet.
Okay.
Now, quick point of clarity with this chain, and if I expend it if I expend a charge, I want to use my action to grapple it. But when I grapple, so I'm going to activate it first, and then I will use my action to grapple it. But when I do so, what was the fuck was my question?
So, Scarlet, your chain is already activated because you used it to create the shield.
Yep.
So
okay, cool.
it can be, but it's up for 10 minutes, so it can leave that shielded position to do something else.
Okay.
There's the only The only charge is you summoning it. The other things are just action economy, like bonus action.
Got it. Okay, cool. That makes sense. Okay, so
Does anyone got any sweets on them?
you better not.
Pretty sure Cal's got like jerky and hardtack.
Yeah. This
Duran's
this
definitely kept
attack
his
happened
feet-
right before they brought the chocolate in. Chocolate's burning right now.
Oh
Chocolate's
no.
burning.
Is the
Oh,
knight
that was it back in the
is the knight within 60 feet?
You are right next to Curon, so yes.
Sweet. All right, I would like to use my action to make a ranged attack against it, and I want to try. My goal here is to grapple it and pull it 20 feet towards us.
Okay, go ahead and give me that ranged attack.
Okay. Crap. That is. Got it. That is going to be. Oh no! Natural 1. 6 total.
Natural 1. Okay.
That would have been so cool.
So I'd say it's part. A lot of it's the distance, and you launch Cinder Lily, your snake out, and just for descriptions for the audience, what does this look like? Even though it fails, it's still cool. It still whips through the trench very cool.
Yeah.
Like.
So she's not used to using it yet, but she holds out her right arm, and as she just throws out her arm, the chain unravels from her arm, and serpentine goes through the smoke and the dust, and is aiming for this knight, but misses terribly. And Scarlet is just like shit, and she,
Yep.
it'll. Does it come
So
back?
yes, it comes back. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as soon as you see Scarlet had wrapped this obsidian chain around her arm, as soon as she commands it, she doesn't manually unwrap it. It just unwraps itself and then coils up into a serpent that is made up of magmic rock. And then you see it flashes out. She puts her hand out and it extends out of her hand from a small portal on her hand, a elemental snake. And it thrashes, whipping around. It breaks things. It smashes. It goes right past Wiswick's head and almost singes his beard a little bit as it latches on to the plate pauldron of the grist knight. But he brings his arm up and unhinges its jaw from it as it sort of reels back and then retreats back to its master.
Okay.
Anything else, Scarlet?
Bonus action, back around my arm.
Okay. All right. So you got that +1 AC again.
Yep.
All right. Is that all?
Yep.
All right. Is the Grist Knight's turn, and then Timber, you are on deck. The Grist Knight, almost like a charging bull, rushes towards Cal at full speed. Has just enough movement to get up to you. And he is going to do a charging attack on you. Which is a 19 to hit.
It does
not
not.
hit.
Does not.
All right. Excellent. All right, so he comes rushing forward, Cal, and it just hits on you. His shoulder and axe hilt hit into you, but you hold your ground, bringing your sword up to take the attack. And then you see he lifts his sword back up now, or his axe, sorry, to bring it down upon you with a natural 20. Okay.
You're barely up, right?
Yeah.
All right, so that is going to be 22 points of slashing damage.
Okay, I'm gonna parry that.
Okay, so go ahead and roll the dice to see how much you reduce it.
Five plus, so 10. So I take 12.
All right, so you take 12. Okay. Wait, did you use the defensive duelist to block that first attack?
Yeah.
Okay, well that's also a reaction.
You're a
So you
bitch.
wouldn't be able to do the.
I went through
this
an
one.
entire season playing that a different way.
So you would take the full 22 points of damage then.
All right, fine.
All right. But that is the Grist Knight's turn. Timber, you are up. So you see before you, Cal, you're hiding with Wiz behind this this debris. Cal is standing there. He has this just a curved sword that you've not seen him use before. He's got this armor up and he's looking forward. He takes the sword in as this knight charges into him, and then tries to and parries that attack away with the sword, and then takes a slash to the chest. It doesn't puncture his armor, but it just knocks Cal back and dazes him as he's still recovering from the burns earlier. What would you like to do?
I readied an action, sir.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Go ahead and go for that.
Thank you. Now I get to roll on these stupid dice.
That everyone else has to use.
Yeah, but you guys don't have the... That's better. So one misses. 28 to hit the second one.
Oh, it's ready to action. You're right. Yeah. All right. So the second one hits.
13, and then I'm gonna do a thing. I'm gonna make it a disarming strike, or disarming strike, if I can. So that's another D10.
D10. What was the first damage? Sorry.
So 16 total.
16 total.
And then
With the...
Yeah, that's with the...
Okay, and then it's a strength saving throw, right?
Yep.
Okay. So that is... I think he might fail that. Let me pull up his stat sheet block real quick. Strength, yeah, he only gets a... Well, he might, I don't know, 16. Does that fail or succeed?
Let me double check. Once I can find the fucking thing. It does not succeed. It fails.
Oh, yeah, all right. You disarm him. That axe goes flinging to the ground as you just sort of... Actually, Cal, because you readied that action, you can get that 22 hit points back because he did not have his axe for that attack.
Oh, excellent.
Excellent. So that second attack didn't happen. Let's just say he punched you. So you take 6 points instead of
All right, that's fair.
seeing his axe has been flung, and then I'll say after he punches you, he reaches and picks up his axe.
Okay. No problem.
But you avoided a lot of damage. All right. Oh wait, this is not your turn. All right, now you're up, Timber.
So seeing that Cal disarmed the man and he's just a fist fighter now, is the battle mage visible in this current trench?
Not yet. The battle mage has not moved forward into the trench yet.
Um.
Oh wait, shit. Sorry. I'll do it at the end of your turn. There's an environment thing that was supposed to happen, but it's fine. Do it at the end of your turn.
Sure you don't want it to happen now?
I think, I'm certain.
Okay. All right. I will use my action to get in flanking position with Cal and punch the man in the back. Twice. Actually.
Easy enough. Go for the attack.
I'm doing this with advantage. Oh, thank God, because I rolled a 1. And that's not much better, but let's go for a 14 for the first attack. Not gonna hit. Next
it
attack.
finds contact and you punch, but you find yourself blocked by the heavy plate armor.
Okay, next one's a 19.
That also misses, actually. As you... Similarly, you're just sort of like bringing these punches in, and it's like any time in the movie the small man's punching the giant man, and it's just sort of taking it and nothing happens. Anything else?
Yeah, I'll bonus unarmed strike.
Go for it.
It's advantage. All right, nope. Still another 19 with advantage. Um, 6 rolls and all of them are below 10. Okay, and then with that, I am going to sprint off, hugging the wall of the trench where that battle mage was shooting from. Timber's going to see if he can kind of get there and look around the corner.
Sure. So you've used 30 feet of movement so far. How much do you have left?
I used 30 feet?
Or no, sorry, not 30, 20 feet.
Oh, I would have 25 left.
25? Oh, yeah, you'll definitely be able to get there. Actually, you're kind of just able to peek around. When you look around the corner, first of all, you see to your right, you can see, like, you see a soldier, like, pulling his arm out from the trench wall where it was frozen solid to the wall. As he pulls it out, and you see him getting himself ready. He's lifting up his companions, and they're all getting ready to charge back in. You can see as you peek over, there are 3 Quintarchy soldiers on the ground with their hands on their faces, screaming in agony as acid is burning their flesh away from Wiswick's attack. And then you see right behind them, standing there with a long saber, same sort of essentially a revival piece of the Kirisri armor you saw in the university. The purple, you see purple robes, you see plate armor underneath those robes. You see a mask that is not the cross guard of the battle mage you saw back in Drift March, but now it's sort of this steel dragon mask that this battle mage is wearing. You can see that it is a woman, and they are approaching, stepping over the burning soldiers, and you can see there's almost like a shield magnifying around them that's reacting to acid that's burning on it. But they are about to enter into the trench on their next turn.
Okay. That's all I can do.
All right. Conveniently enough, Battle Mage's turn. All right. So she steps forward and turns, immediately spotting you and Huron's spiritual weapon hanging out there.
Hey.
Hey, how you doing? You feel kind of like you're remembering back to Drift March, where that mage could summon all sorts of chaos around you when you fought it last. You see, as she approaches, she's kind of taken aback at first when she sees you. You can see the acid drips off and the shield goes invisible as she cocks her head looking at you. And then you see she holds up her hand, and the gauntlet starts to quake, almost as if displaced from gravity, where it's vibrating all at once really fast. And you see a little tiny black orb appear in her hands, and then she closes her hands, and you feel a sudden gravitational pull on you.
She just wants a hug, right?
Yeah, that's all it is.
Okay, good.
As she is going to cast Gravity Sinkhole. So I need you to give me a Constitution saving throw, Timber.
I'll give her a hug. I'm really good at getting below 10. Yeah! Woo! Got an 8.
You got. I can never tell, Alex, with you if you're celebrating or if you're celebrating sarcastically. Okay. One moment. All right. So you got an 8, so that means that you failed. You are going to take. Let me roll this. Sorry, using D&D Beyond for this. You are going to take. Oh, geez. 35 force damage.
Okay.
And you get pulled back 5 feet into the black hole that she's summoned. You feel this tremendous force pulling on you, almost like it's ripping some of your skin open a little bit as you're being pulled back. And you look back and you're terrified as you see this horrifying void there trying to consume you as you see a soldier next to you gets clean sucked into it and is gone. And then it disappears and you find yourself falling back to the ground. And that is the battle mage's turn.
Wait, quick question. Just side note.
Yeah.
Did I end my turn in Kieran's bubble? Oh, I didn't.
No, you didn't.
Okay,
No, you
alright.
didn't because you
I went too
you
far.
rushed forward.
Whoopsies.
Huron, how what's the radius on your bubble?
30 feet.
Okay, yeah, you ran out of it. All right, Cal, you are up. Wiswick, you're on deck.
Okay, I'm gonna attack this guy.
Go for it. Oh shit! Wait. Before you do that, I gotta remember there's an environmental effect happening because it's important. You all hear this was supposed to happen on initiative 20, but I kept forgetting. You would all hear a heavy. It's not a like a horn blowing, but it sounds like something just breaking. It sounds like thunder in the sky. As you see, Curon, you probably with your passive perception would notice this first. A shadow in the clouds and fog above, probably about 200 feet in the air. As you would see what appears to be floating rock approaching. Like a not like a whole island, but just sort of like maybe like a 20-foot radius platform of rock above you, floating in the air. And then you would see clearly lights up there, and then you would hear a loud as some projectile is firing down upon the soldiers. Cal, you would immediately recognize the sound as a lodestone cannon.
Got it. Is it ours or theirs?
Theirs. You do not know of any floating fortresses on your forces.
228s to hit.
Those will both hit.
I'm gonna make one a tripping attack. So it's 15. It's 28 damage total on that. Hang on a second. And then with the tripping attack is another 5 damage, so 33 damage total. And then he has to make a strength saving throw, por favor.
You got it.
Hug
It's an
saving
11. It's an 11, so I think he trips.
He does fail. It's 17 is the yep. So he's
Alright.
down.
All right, Cal, you come in for those attacks. You slice across the armor, knocking him off throwing him off his rhythm. And then you bring that foot in the right way, and you see he falls back onto his back.
Throw pedophiles off the rhythm.
Yeah, throw him off your rhythm. You got sneakers kicking up at him.
He doesn't know what's going on. Take out a bag of
Now
coke.
he's crying.
What is this?
What the fuck is this? Anyway, John Mulaney puts aside. He is now on the ground. Timber, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
I will do that. Okay, that's better. 25.
25. All right, you avoid getting hit with shrapnel as a cast iron cannonball of sorts explodes right in front of you amidst those soldiers. You feel the warmth of blood splatter on your face as a lot of them are now dead.
Oh.
As you're just standing there. Something falls from the sky, explodes. You find cover to avoid the shrapnel, and there are now dead bodies in front of you. The battle mage also has to make that saving throw. Actually, she succeeds as well.
Friend fire.
All right. Cal, anything else on your turn?
No, I don't think
Okay.
so.
You get 14 points of temp HP.
Thanks.
Wiswick, you're up.
Cool. So is the Grist warrior still standing?
Yes, he is.
Wasn't he prone?
Oh, true.
He's prone, but he is still alive.
That does not make my life easier.
No.
But
Makes
you
mine a lot
can
easier.
kind of through the lines get kind of glimpse the battle mage now.
Oh, okay. 'Cause I was gonna say, like, if I can, like, get a glimpse of him, like, maybe, like, from, like, the, like, the, 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 let's give a shot at the battle mage then.
Go
We'll
for it.
drop a big spell slot. Let's go with Arc Bolts. Fancy pantsy
Nice.
new spell from Sean.
If you notice, I buffed it recently.
I did not notice, but I'm glad that you did.
I upped the dice for it. To a
Sweet.
D whatever.
2d6 says my character sheet.
That is wrong. It should be 2d8.
Oh no, yeah, you're right. I didn't say it correctly, but I throw 5 bolts at this guy, and I'm doing the old add burn a first level spell slot to add 2d10 to it.
Go
It's
for
only gonna do the 2d10 once because I'm only got one target, but here we go. I gotta roll 5 attacks.
it. Yes, you do.
This might take a while. All right, great start.
What's the first one?
A 10. Second one's a nat 20, baby.
Ooh.
Nice. Nice.
Both sides of the spectrum.
Yep. Damn it! Third one's another 1.
Oh, you got a nat 20 though to make up for it, I guess. Next one.
15 is
Does
gonna
not
come
hit.
up in a second. Well, no, it's 15 plus 9 is 24.
Oh, that'll definitely hit.
Come on, one more. You could do it, D&D Beyond. I believe in you.
Just gotta believe. Just gotta
The last
believe.
one's a 23.
All right, last one hits as well. So let's roll the
So-
natural 20 first. So roll the 2d8 for that. We are also going to use the full first roll nat 20 rule that Stefan likes to use. So you max out the first damage and then roll the second damage. So 16 damage and then roll 2d8 and add that to it.
Okay.
Let's be real. Everyone likes to use that rule because it makes sense.
I agree. Natural 20 is the best possible thing that could happen. So it should be the max damage on the first roll.
All right, so I got 10 plus 16 is 26 lightning damage.
Okay, for the nat
first
20.
roll. Yep.
All right, second 2d8. I guess you could just roll 4d8 for the last two.
Well, I'm just hitting the button that says 2d8, so yeah, I guess I should have done 48, but honestly, that would take longer. So I got an 8 and a 4.
8 and 4.
So that's gonna be, 12 extra damage to the 26 from the crit, and then I roll 2d10 for the extra damage from alchemical casting. I rolled a 1 and something else that I can't see yet. A 4. Alright, so extra 5 damage.
Okay.
So that's 17 plus 26 total. Something like that.
Okay. No problem. All right, so what you
43.
see happen... Okay. You said 43 total, essentially?
43
Okay.
total, lightning damage to the mage, and 2 misses. So that's pretty hot. That's a good spell.
Yeah. All right. Something you notice, though, is when you hit the mage, there seems to be some kind of bubble shield around them that seems to be absorbing some of the magical damage, so it is dealing what appears to be half damage currently.
Well, we gotta hit it somehow. Magic's the only type of magic damage I got.
But you do notice the shield looks weak. As you can see, parts of it seem to be falling apart and then regenerating slowly, so it is damaged, so it might not be a permanent shield.
Take that,
Okay.
bubble boy!
Here, Wiswick, anything else?
Gonna command my golem, and
Yes.
I'm gonna say, "You're doing great. maybe let's try something a little bit more challenging. You think you're up for it? Try and figure out how that trebuchet works.
Oh God. You see this golem. This golem is putting out fires and then like moves and knocks over a bunch of shit as it moves over to look at you and nods its head and starts running towards the trebuchet.
Don't break it.
What's its movement speed?
It's pretty fast actually. 40 feet.
Nice.
It can also burrow at 40 feet, so if you want him to dig, that's the thing.
Swan dive.
Yeah, I'll let
Yeah, I
it
think it's
dash,
kind of like
too.
an earth glide thing, so he kind of just like...
Yeah, it is. It is. But all right, so it'll get to the trebuchet on its next turn. All right, Kieran, you're up. Scarlet, you're on deck.
All right, let's start real quick. Spiritual weapons going to attack the battle mage. Oh, Jesus, for a 15 to hit. You're
You
muted.
got it muted.
Doesn't hit as you watch the glaive shriek against the shield around the mage.
And the man is still the knight
Gris
is
Knight,
still
yeah.
prone.
Yes, he's still prone until
All
his
right,
turn.
then Kieran's going to run over to him and throwing a staff into his left hand, he's gonna reach down and grab its or grab his like arm shoulder and inflict wounds.
All right, go for it.
at 3rd level. Shit, where'd it go? Oh, huh. And I have advantage on that, right?
Yes, you are flanking.
All right.
Oh, also because he's down.
Prone.
Yeah.
Touch.
24 or 18? 19.
24 will hit.
Fantastic.
Oh, let me check something real quick while you're doing that.
24 points of necrotic damage.
Necrotic damage. 20. How much? 24.
Yes, sir.
Nice. All right. So, you rush over, and as he's kind of like lifting himself up onto his knees, you bring your hand down, surge that necrotic energy through him. You see his head goes flipping back. You can hear grizzled. He's grinding his teeth and growling underneath his helm. He is going to use his Mage Slayer feat to make an attack on you.
I'm sorry, what is what now?
He is disadvantaged because he is still prone.
I'm sorry, Sean. His what now? You think
Don't-
Kieran's a mage? I'm just flattered.
Magic user slayer. Magic user slayer. Doesn't matter. He rolled very poorly. Oh wait, I misread the dice. But he's disadvantaged, so the other one is bad. So it's 15 to hit.
That misses.
All right, so you watch as he reaches and grabs his axe and brings it up, but it clashes against your glaive staff. Anything else in your turn? I think that's everything.
Well, that is going to be the end of my turn, Sean. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Scarlet, you are up.
Okay. Well, Kieran took my spot, so I want to go just to the knight's right. So, like, basically in between Cal and Kieran.
Okay. It's
Yeah, right
25. Oh, no, battle stuff.
Oh, no!
That is 25 feet of your movement. What do you want to know?
Perfect. I would like to, I had my hammer out, so I would like to bring it close to my mouth, and I would like to whisper its command word with my bonus action, setting it on fire, and then I would like to bring it down on his head.
What's its command word?
I'm still working on it.
It's hammer time.
Strike.
Go ahead and roll an attack.
Activate.
That's a 24.
That will hit.
All right.
And your friends are in melee, so it is sneak attack.
Awesome. All right. So there is 1d8 plus 5 and then a 1d10 plus 5 in gray. What's the gray mean?
Say that again.
There's a 1d8 plus 5 in the normal text, and then there's 1d10 plus 5 in gray right underneath it. Is that if I throw it?
That's if you use two hands. with
Two
it.
hands. Right. Okay, cool. I'm not using two hands. Well, no. All right, so 9 points of bludgeoning damage plus 2, 3, 4, 5. Plus 17 points of sneak attack damage plus...
Yeah, where's that fire damage?
Yeah. 10 points of fire damage.
Okay, so that's 27.
That's real satisfying. Scarlett's using all her new toys today.
Wow, nice. 36 points of damage. All right, he is looking bloodied. As you can see, like some of his armor is falling off as Scarlet comes rushing forward. The runes on her hammer all ignite in fire. She brings this hammering down, denting in his chest plate into his chest as he coughs up. She kind of brings it into an upswing because he's still on his knees and brings it up, and he kind of falls back down after lifts him up off the ground by a couple inches. Anything else, Scarlet?
That is it.
All right, this guy is beat the hell up as he finally stands back up.
Scarlet, if you want, 12 is your new temp HP.
Yes, thank you.
All right, he is gonna go for an attack on Scarlet. Oh, jeez. Natural one. So first attack misses.
That doesn't hit.
Second attack is a dirty 20.
That hits.
Okay, so he is going to boom this using his booming effect. That is going to be 10 points of slashing damage, Scarlet. And then I need everyone. So I need Cal, Huron, and Scarlet to make.
Does he need a blade to cast Booming Blade?
It's not Booming Blade. It's a different feature.
Oh, okay.
It's like Booming Blade, but it's not. Mostly just the boom part.
Simply reminding you he does not have a blade.
Yeah.
Because I knocked it out of his hand.
Well, he picked it up.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah, he did pick it up. But Scarlet, Huron, and Cal, I do need all of you to make strength saving throws.
Oh, okay. 17.
Okay, you make your save.
9.
Oh.
Don't make your save.
What?
24.
You make your save. All right, so Cal and Scarlet are going to take half damage. Huron, you're going to take full damage, which is
You're gonna take
11 points of force damage. And Huron, you are knocked back 5 feet.
whatever.
As the axe swings at Scarlet, but the concussive force booms out from it into Cal and Huron as well, knocking Huron back as Cal takes the blast and Scarlet takes the blast. That is the knight's turn. Timber, you're up.
I'm going to go up to the mage. Wait, there's 2 people there, right?
One is my spirit weapon.
No, that's the spiritual weapon.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you. High spirit weapon. I'm going to run up and punch the mage. Give it a good old 5-finger hello.
Death punch.
Go for it.
Boop. Skidoop. We can do. Boop.
No.
Oh, hello. That's a 29.
Yeah, that'll hit.
Okay, I'm gonna punch it in the face. Oh! Ooh! 10 damage!
Nice.
And then I'm going to use a key point, Stunning Strike. So it's a DC 15.
DC 15. What is it? Wisdom, Constitution.
Constitution.
Okay. Just by the way, when you punched at the mage, your hand stopped about 6 inches from her face as you felt it crash against the magical shield that is around her. She rolled a natural 16, which is a 22.
Okay, alright, well, I'm gonna...
Go again.
Alright. Alright. Let's get a miss with a nice 15. You know.
Yeah,
Do what
that
you
will.
can.
Go for it.
And, oh yeah, no.
Tag is. I just noticed the tag is still on my hoodie.
For my bonus action, I'm going to smoke bomb disengage.
Ooh.
I am going to
Nice.
I am going to throw down a smoke bomb and retreat.
What's the radius on that smoke bomb?
I don't know. You just gave me a smoke bomb.
Oh, well, smoke bombs are actual items in D&D Beyond.
Oh, they are. I did
Yeah.
not know that. Let me look this up.
I got it. It's called a smoke grenade in D&D Beyond.
Ooh.
All right, so it is heavily obscured area in a 20-foot radius.
Okay.
Okay.
I would try to fill that side of the trench up.
Okay, so
Is the whole yeah.
yeah, this is actually 20-foot radius. This is perfect. All right, and you wanted to disengage. Do you want to run back to your party, or do you want to run past her?
I want to run back to my party, please.
All right. Do you want to get within range of the Grist Knight, or do you want to run past them?
I would probably run past them.
Okay.
But to stay within Kieran's little Twilight Sanctuary.
Okay, you can get right behind Cal.
Sure, that'll do.
Okay. All right. Let me just check something. Okay. Heavily obscured, so she can't attack you with an opportunity attack. All right. That's Timber's turn. So it's actually now the Battle Mage's turn.
16 temp.
Thank you.
Kaze.
All right. What does this Battle Mage have left for spells?
Ow! Why'd you do that?
Question is, who's going to target?
Well,
Can
the
I
problem.
see?
What?
Can I see this battle mage?
No, actually, none of you can see her now because the area is heavily obscured around her because Timber threw a smoke bomb around there. She is gonna stumble forward out of the smoke. I'm gonna say it's because even though this is not really an effective smoke bomb, I'm gonna say it's difficult terrain because she can't really see.
There's a lot of people in there too.
Yeah.
And a spiritual weapon.
But she could just walk right through that.
Don't let him know.
Does that get an attack of opportunity?
No.
No, it doesn't.
Rip.
It also doesn't engage flanking.
Yeah. All right, so she can get to the edge of the smoke. So I will have her.
Dance.
She is going to point her blade at Huron
Nah.
and cast Finger of Death. No. No, she's gonna cast Banishment.
Counterspell?
Who?
Who casts Banishment? So go ahead and give me a Charisma saving throw.
Counterspell?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can.
I think
Yes,
Wizzy's
please.
saving my ass here.
Yeah, you absolutely can. And I don't think. Are you casting it at 4th level?
I'm casting it at 3rd level.
All right. So then you will need to make a roll.
You know,
'Cause Banishment is a.
just to
4th
be
level
clear,
spell.
like, yeah, would I be able to notice if it's banishment because that's a spell that I have in my book? And like
I would
that-
say yes,
Dude,
because
Wiswick, you control the weaves of magic. You know.
since you know banishment, I'd absolutely allow you to know that it's higher level and require a higher level counterspell.
Sweet.
Or you could roll if you want.
No, I'll take the easy way out.
Okay, 4th level. All right. So, Kieran, you feel for a moment your essence slipping from this reality. You're getting flashbacks of Myas. And then you're like, oh, no. and then you hear some muttering arcane words from Wiswick behind you as you can feel you're pulled back into this reality as an angry battle mage now has wasted her turn. Before... no, we'll do it on the next run. All right, Cal, you're up. And then Wiswick, you're on deck.
I'm attacking the guy still.
Go for it.
Do I have advantage now? Because
you do.
Cool.
But you have disadvantage because you're in heavily obscured smoke?
No.
I'm not.
No, that's down the trench.
Okay, so the first one's a 24 to hit.
That'll hit. Sky is looking rough.
Second one's a 21 to hit.
Both hit.
Excellent. Excellent. For 22 total damage. Hang on, do I want to add? I don't. I'm going to hold off. 22.
Okay. All right, so you come forward, slashing your Curse's blade up, and you can see now, like, you're just flinging pieces of his armor off at this point. As you can see underneath, you can see these, now that I'll say he ripped his helmet off because it's dented in. You can see, for the most part, it's just a man, but you can see his eyes are bloodshot. He's probably young, but he looks like he's aged tremendously through his experiences. He has a completely shaved head, as he's just growling at you essentially like an animal. All right, is that everything for you, Cal?
No.
Okay.
I'm an action surge. I want to kill this guy.
I figured you would.
Yeah, so gritting my teeth, I attack again.
Go for it.
Sure.
You have advantage.
Yep. 20 to hit the first one.
That just hits.
Wow. All right, so the first one hits.
All right, go ahead and roll damage.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it the more. I'm gonna do more.
Okay. You're gonna do.
Hell yeah, that's 25 damage.
Ooh, baby.
Nice. He is still up, but you bring that blade down, and I imagine almost you bring the blade down and you cut across his chest, loosening his chest plate, cutting the strips of it, and I'll say his armor class is now decreased down.
I want to punch it.
Punching, I've heard the feedback, and you can't actually punch with an offhand attack. It has to be a light weapon you use.
That's rude. And makes no sense, but sure.
You gotta get some bronze knuckles or something.
Otherwise, monks wouldn't matter. Also, then it wouldn't be a duelist. Anyway, Wiswick, you're up.
Okay.
Cal gets temp HP equaling 15.
So I know I could see the wizard. Is there any allies I could see nearby? Besides, I guess, Huron?
All the allies are beyond the smoke at this point, and you're starting to hear some clamoring over there. The smoke is, like, slowly clearing. Like, it's not permanent. There is a somewhat of a breeze, so you can see the smoke is slowly starting to wisp up. At the end of Timber's next turn, the smoke will be gone. But it seems like there is a skirmish happening in that trench line, as now that, like, the big threats aren't there, the foot soldiers are engaging each other again.
Okay.
And you can actually hear that there are reinforcements that seem to be coming from Cal's rolling of the emergency bell. So you will have reinforcements at the top of initiative on the next round.
That's scary. Actually, no, that's a good thing, right?
Yes, that's good.
I'm gonna go with a 3rd level Tasha's Mind Whip on the wizard, but
Excellent.
I'm going to modify it to make it Tasha's Terror Whip
Ooh.
and make it a Wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom save. All right.
So
That's
yeah,
fine.
Wisdom saving throw 17.
Oh, jeez. That's cocked.
You're cocked.
All right. So that is a 22.
That'll do it.
Are there any effects on a failure or on a success?
I think it's just half, maybe. Hold
Yeah,
on.
it's half damage.
All right. Go ahead and roll
Save
damage,
target
but it doesn't get the effect where it like loses its choice on its
No.
actions. Okay. So go ahead and roll
half as
damage.
much
and-
damage, no effect. Yeah, so that's 10 damage. Halved is 5 psychic damage.
Okay, which is halved again because of their shield.
I was gonna say if it goes through the shield or not, but okay.
The shield is looking rough. Like the shield is gonna break soon, and her AC will drop also then.
Break it, you buy it.
I return to cover, and my golem does whatever my golem is planning on doing.
No one can see what it's doing right now. Wiswick, could you give me a quick intelligence roll for the golem?
Oh no.
This will be fun.
I will say it does use its feature where it splits into 3 smaller golems.
Yeah. Wait, does that mean I get 3 separate intelligence?
I'll give you advantage on the intelligence roll because it's not just like a big ass hand grabbing the trebuchet. It's 3 smaller golems.
For folks at home,
Damn,
this
I
thing
need to
has
get
a
3 small.
-3 to intelligence.
Woof.
Yes, the
The arcane golem of magical might is dumb as rock.
It's
it
really good at
holds other
remembering
people's
things.
intelligence. It doesn't have its own.
It's like a computer. It's only as smart as the person who programmed it.
Exactly. So it's as smart. So it's as smart as Wiswick.
Yes.
Oh
get?
my god!
What'd you get?
Nat 20. A 20
Fuck.
and an 18.
No. All right. So. All right. So you all are fighting. It's like tooth and nail here. You're surrounding this grist knight, but you've got this mage who can blast you with intense magic at any point, and you're fighting tooth and nail as you suddenly hear behind you some scuffling behind the line, and then you hear the familiar sound of a trebuchet launching. You look up in the sky and you see a massive clay pot being launched directly towards the drift fortress above you that had shot that cannon down. And you see it just sort of crashes into it because the golem was like looking at 2 ammunitions, was like, I can use this rock or I can use this pretty clay pot. Clay pot. Not knowing the clay pot contained a bunch of beads of fireball. And you now look and see this floating fortress. There is erupting fire all over it, as there are also beads that miss that are just hitting the enemy line where there are other soldiers beyond. And you hear a loud as this thing is crashing down to the ground.
No!
Just for us, Sean, how large is this floating fortress?
It's not as large as you'd think. It's a 10-foot radius, or sorry, 20-foot radius. It's really it's a way to mobilize artillery and to attack from and to get. I think I'm using this right, enfilade with the artillery, so you can get a direct line. It's how they attacked your back line, which was out of range of the trebuchet you saw the other night. But it's collapsing down, and you hear a loud, thunderous crack and screams as a shit ton of dirt gets kicked up, dirt and snow gets kicked up as you all, in this moment, the smoke bomb smoke is just gone, and it is replaced now with dust and snow and dirt in the air all around you that just goes, puts out half the fires. And if anyone was looking, which none of you are, except for Clay, the three little golems. There's one just like hanging and swinging, kind of like a monkey, off of the long arm of the trebuchet right now, as another one is kind of jumping up and down at the success. And then you see a third one. I'm now attributing personalities to the three.
Right.
There's the playful one, there's the infantile one, and there's the serious one. As you see one that's just holding the trigger of the trebuchet, and it's
Huey, Dewey, and Louie, right?
absolutely, and it is barking.
Yes.
It is in some garbled language that is Virfneblin, secret Virfneblin. It is trying to get the other two to load this trebuchet again. You're on.
Kieran's antics will not mimic this. He's going to send his spiritual weapon to the back of that battle mage for an attack.
Does it get sneak attack since it's coming out of smoke?
No, Brian.
18 to hit.
18 does not hit. Oh, right, no, sorry. 18 just hits, but they are going to use a reaction to shield. So it does not hit.
Brick of my heart. Kieran's going to wait. So after me, we have Tim.
Scarlet, Timber. I mean, you're last in the initiative, so everyone.
Okay, but the knight won't be going before my allies, correct?
Scarlet will be going before the knight.
All right, Scarlet, you can finish him off. Kieran's going to turn to the battle mage and attack with his magical staff glaive, which he hasn't actually activated yet. So he takes his staff and twirls it around. He doesn't need to move up because he's got reach with the glaive, so he's going to stay where he is. And he activates one end, so where the swirling kind of moon fragments are, you see an ethereal crescent moon glaive, similar to his, almost identical to his spirit weapon, emerge on the end of it as you see this huge crescent as he swings around and makes an attack on the person.
Go for it. What color is the ethereal crescent moon?
The ethereal crescent moon is a bright silver, as he has a 21 to hit.
That'll hit. Do you have the divine strike feature?
I do. Yep.
Excellent.
So he's going to do 12 magical slicing damage,
Mhm.
and then 3 radiant for the divine strike.
So that's 15 total.
Yes, sir.
Okay, once again, it is not dealing as much damage as it should, but that shield is coming down as you strike and cut this glaive, swinging it, mirroring the meditative dances of the shepherds, bringing this glaive down, and it slices through as you hear as the shield around the battle mage shatters and turns to dust in the air, settling, sparkling to the ground as the battle mage kind of falls backwards, and you can see a cut down their dragon mask that's just sort of like pierced through as they kind of just fall back a little bit. Now panicked, AC dropped, and they are no longer resistant to damage.
Your mortality is here, Kieran says to the battle mage.
Excellent. Scarlet, you are up.
Okay. I am going to use my bonus action to use the steady aim feature, which gives me advantage on my next attack roll.
Before you do that, I will advise you can, now that Kieran has moved, move into flanking with Cal
Cool.
to get advantage, so you don't have to do that.
Cool. I'll do that. Thanks.
You're welcome.
All right.
Back to back, Kieran and Scarlet.
Yeah, you guys are.
Hell yeah. Oh man, if I could draw. All right, here we go. I am wailing on him with the hammer again. It's still,
What are you,
it's, yeah. So first one is a 27. Let me just roll it again. See if I get a crit. I do not. So we're gonna go with 27 to hit.
All right, roll that sneak attack damage and the fire damage and the bludgeoning damage.
Okay, bludgeoning is 7. The fire damage is 7, so 14 total, and the sneak attack is 14, so 28 points of damage total.
He is just.
Are you kidding
Alive.
me?
Didn't
You still have your bonus action.
Yes, I do. Ugh.
You punch him?
You will have to either dismiss your serpent or attack with the serpent. If you attack with the serpent, it is technically a ranged attack, so you do have disadvantage, but it would equal out to normal attack because you're flanking.
Right, because can I not?
Because you would need a
take out-
free hand. You need a free hand to do your offhand attack, and
Right.
part of the item is that it takes up your hand. The serpent.
even when it's wrapped around.
Even when
facing?
it's wrapped around, yes.
Okay.
So you can attack with the serpent if you want. He's almost dead. His AC is reduced
Yeah.
because his armor's
okay.
broken.
Yeah, we'll try and get it like right on the neck.
All right, give me a ranged attack. Equal, no advantage or disadvantage. His AC is lower than it was before, so you have a better
Natural
chance.
20. 25
I-
total.
Not even going to, because he had 3 hit points left. How do you want to kill this Grist Knight? This personification of General Kinsley on the battlefield.
Yeah, I just, hold out my arm again now that closer range, not so far away. She can do things in close range. She'll get better at the farther range too, but she'll just hold out her arm and just the snake will just extend out and just really quick. Just one just a bite to the neck. Just take him out.
All right. So this guy has not stopped gritting his teeth and growling at Cal this whole time. This Cal, you see this guy, he's on his knees at this point with how much damage you dealt to him before and slicing his armor up, and he's just sort of defiantly staring up at you as you see Scarlet's magmic serpent just sort of curls up in a predator position, and then just a quick bite to the neck and off. As you can see, this singeing fire kind of burst on his neck and then dissipate to just the bite mark as he just sort of he just kind of reaches a hand up and kind of just presses against your chest plate as he just falls to the ground dead. All right. The Grist Knight has fallen.
Just a question.
Yeah.
Did I see the battle mage?
If you look over your shoulder, you can see the battle mage.
Okay. Just asking for any sort of effect that might happen.
Give me a wisdom saving throw. You asked for it.
I did. 11.
All right, you it's the first one, so I'm gonna say you shake it off.
Okay.
But you do get flashbacks to
Yeah.
the armored mage in Kinsley's basement and the cold. You feel a shudder over your skin that even the fires that are simmering out can't warm, as you remember the cold of your prison cell and the way he spoke coldly to you. But you shake it off in this moment. He is dead, so his turn does not come up. Timber, you are up.
And you get 13 temp HP.
Scarlet gets.
After Shannon has Taylor Swift successfully, going to
What?
she shook it off. Anyway, she
Another drift fortress shows up. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm going to move from the dead guy. I'm going to move my hex over to the battle mage. And then I'm going to take out my bow and shoot him with the bow of justice.
Justice.
That's a 17 for the first one. Also, I'm expelling a charge. You're muted, by the way.
Thank you. 17. Now that Kiran has destroyed her magic shield, that'll hit.
Yay! So that is 10 damage plus 1, 2, 3, 4. Plus 12 necrotic. Second.
So how much is it total?
22 damage. Second attack is a 23 to hit. I'm a spelling charge too. Sorry, I'm using everything. Just
excellent.
Boom. And boom, boom, boom. 7 piercing and 21, so that's 28 damage total for the second attack.
Nice. All right.
And
Now she's taking real damage. As before, she was not really taking any damage. Now you can see the arrows are piercing through her robes and armor. She is looking panicked.
she has disadvantage on strength ability checks.
You got it. It is her turn right now. So you see, she looks around. She turns to her back. She sees that the smoke is cleared. She sees that the destruction of the Drift Fortress at the hands of Clayton's Huey, Dewey, and Louie has demoralized her troops. The reinforcements are routing the enemy Quintarchy soldiers. She looks around. She sees she's surrounded. She sees all of this. You see, she holds up a hand. It starts to emanate. She hits it to the ground. A circle appears around her. And she teleports away.
Counterspell.
Okay. All right. So you are gonna have to roll for this one.
I am.
So go
What's
ahead
the
and
DC?
the DC is teleport is the 7th level spell, so it's 17 is the DC.
Oh boy.
Gotta believe I made the impossible happen once tonight. Let's see if we can do it twice. That's not good. Wait,
No.
hold on. Does it add anything to it?
It's just add your
Oh, yeah.
proficiency and your intelligence modifier.
Oh, okay.
Oh wait, let me double check that. Is it? Yeah, I think it's both. Or no, it might just be your. Might just be your.
I'm
Make
pretty
an
sure.
ability check using your spellcasting ability modifier, which is
So
plus
that's just
5,
your.
So I got a 13, no good.
13 with the +5.
I got an 8 plus 5 is
Okay.
13.
Okay. So you attempt to kick off this counter spell. You can sort of see the ethereal magic trying to drain the magic from her. As you can see, kind of ripples of the white of her teleportation are rippling off of her. But then she looks up. You can kind of just see one eye through the cut that Kiran made in the dragon helm as she vanishes. But that will take us out of initiative as the Enduran soldiers are routing the enemies. You have successfully held this line. You've destroyed a drift fortress against all odds. And you've defeated a grist knight of General Kinsley and almost defeated a pretty strong battle mage. The air
it broke her
starts
shield.
to... It did break her shield. For reference, that is a 100 damage mana shield that you need to deal 100 damage to it before it'll break. And then it'll lower her AC and remove that. She has resistance to all types of damage with that.
Give me one of those.
But the dust from the collapsed drift fort starts to fade away. You start to just hear the cinders of the fire and the footsteps running through the mud of the trenches as the Quints are retreating. You hear a uproarious cheer from the soldiers in this line as you all, panting, look to each other, having succeeded in this fight. And that's where we're going to take a break real quick. All right, folks. So we are going to take a quick 5-minute break. We will be back shortly. Please stick around. There is plenty of post-combat RP, I'm sure, ahead. We'll see you very shortly.
Go.
Welcome back, friends, to Advantage in Paradise. Our Wayward Five have just routed the enemy Quintarchy attack raiding group, while also killing what is called a Grist Knight, which in the last season they discovered were these anti-magic super soldiers that General Kinsley was engineering, as well as routed a very powerful battle mage of the Quintarchy, who teleported away, unfortunately, before they could defeat her. And she was approaching bloodied, so it was pretty close. Now, the fires are slowly being put out. Much of the fog was cleared by the dust wave that was shot out by the drift fortress that collapsed after the split construct of Wiswick managed to make the trebuchet work and launched a firebomb at this flying fortress. Clutch, because that would have been the thing would have just rained fire on the entire line pretty quickly. Okay, so the tension is starting to drop. As those of you who suffered significant damage start to feel it immediately. That fall, that decline in adrenaline is happening quickly. What would you all like to do?
Cal does two things. The first is he takes a knee and drives a side dagger right into the skull of the man that they killed in front of him, the Gristonite.
Yep.
And the second thing is, kind of as he's doing this, he looks over to the group of endurance soldiers that just, the ones that are alive, make sure that there's somebody in charge over there. There's an officer over there doing something.
Yeah, you can see someone is starting to order people around and collect people and get them back on their feet. There's a lot of dead though. This was even though you were successful, there is a significant loss of life in this attack, meant to really probably be, if successful, destruction of the supply lines, or at the very least, deal as much damage as possible.
Okay.
Wiswick, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Kieran's going to wander through the soldiers, and kind of in that like post-battle haze as he's walking on his staff, where he sees soldiers that are alive but in grave condition. He's going to spare the dying, and where there's extremely grievous wounds, he will cure their wounds. Up to 7 soldiers, he can cure their wounds.
Yeah,
of more
that
serious.
is a significant help here, and luckily there is a the medical tents are not too far from here since you are on the second line, so that is a significant help. Though you save at least 3 lives, as far as people who are completely beyond gone, and your spare the dying helps them. It's you've done mass healing before in the bandit attacks on Magicset, with your compatriots, in other situations. This is gruesome. It's the sort of situation where you're healing and wounds are closing up over severed limbs. Your wounds are closing up over eyes that are not returning. But you save a lot of lives in this moment as you're walking through the dust and ash and picked up snow. The wind is sort of whipping the snow all around you as there is a pretty intense wind kicking up at this point. It's not snowing out, but it feels like it is because of how much snow and dirt is being kicked up into the air.
Wiswick jumps out of the trench and runs towards his golem friends, and he sees the one that was on the trigger, and he runs up and gives it a big hug, and he takes his hat off and puts it on him and says, like, you're the MVP this time, buddy. Great job.
You watch as the 3 golems, the 2 that were kind of goofing off, drop down, and they slowly all kind of like earth meld back together up into the head that still has your hat on, as it's now like 12 feet tall, and it takes the head off and puts it down on your head, and you can see It doesn't have many facial features, but you see the eyes kind of blink several times, the light in the eyes, as you can just hear the scraping of the stone like a purr.
Cal would seeing that somebody's in charge over with the other troops. I would.
Yeah, it
stand
seems
up.
as though someone who came someone came with the reinforcements that's now
A regular
Yeah.
infantry officer is
exactly.
in charge of that over there. I'm going to head back up to Clay, Governor Clay. I need to make sure he's around still.
Yeah. So you would find him. He listened to you when you dragged him. He does have his sword out, and he seems like he was probably a few moments away from charging into the fight himself. Probably in the next round of combat he would have been charging in. He sheathes the weapon and sort of looks up at you and around. Well, like I said, I don't like other men fighting my battles. I suppose if you're fighting them, that'll do.
Governor, we can't discount that this attack was aimed directly at you, attempting to stop whatever it is you're trying to do in Vermilcia, so we should be heading out momentarily. I'll search for some horses. Make sure to stay under cover until then.
Right. Absolutely, yes. As you wish, Lieutenant.
Cal would then go try and find our horses and/or other horses.
Absolutely. So you find Rocco, who has slowly made his way back after having run off. Rocco is invulnerable, but a very frightened horse. The other horses that you had taken from the quartermaster, they did not make it through the firebombing, unfortunately. But you could scrap together a few more horses if you'd like.
I would like.
Okay. I'll say you can muster 3 horses.
Okay. I start getting them ready. Tack and provisions, etc.
Yeah, a significant portion of supplies in this depot were damaged in the fires, but you are able to acquire enough for your journey. You can also ransack the horses that you had already packed. Not everything is destroyed off of them, so you can definitely pull together enough for you and Governor Clay, at least.
Timber's gonna get out of that trench immediately, and
Timber, actually, real quick, give me a wisdom saving throw.
Damn it! Let's try to avoid that. Okay, never mind. We're good. Everything's okay.
Yeah, what'd you get?
19.
Okay, yeah, you're definitely good. I'll say for the experience of it though, Timber, like the adrenaline starts to come down and you start to look around. You can see you watch Cal digs this dagger, this dirk into the eye of this corpse, and you can just see the blood pouring out. And this is fresh blood, not like the rotting corpses out there. So you feel your hands start to shake. You kind of shaking your head as the scent is intensifying and intoxicating for a moment, and you hear deep down in your soul the growling of the wolf god within you, clamoring. It has not been out in so long. It is so hungry. But you pulled it off.
Yeah, Timber's terrified. He is both singed and, injured in many ways. He's going to get out of that trench and slowly remove his blood-soaked nose rag and look for some sort of supply tent with like bandages or something like that, or some clothes that are not his.
Yeah, you can absolutely make your way over to the silos that Cal is at right now, where it seems like a lot of supplies are being held. in this line of the trenches, and while you go in there, kind of rushing in there, seeing Cal kind of packing up tack and everything for the horses, you see there are some spare clothes, uniforms, cloth that you can see there that you can absolutely, some bandages, a few things you can grab.
Yeah, he definitely rushes past Cal and just grabs what he can and just wraps his nose up.
Absolutely.
Scarlet would have been helping Kieran. Like, she would just kind of like stand around for a second, not really sure what to do, and then she would just go help Kieran.
Would you like to expend any charges on your healer's kit to try to stabilize some soldiers?
Sure.
Okay. How many? You got 10.
Well, I've used this healer's kit before. Or are we just starting at 10 now?
Let's say 9.
Okay. I will use 4.
All right, give me 4 medicine checks.
Okay.
With actually, no, sorry. Healer's kits bypass the medicine check. You are able to slowly but surely. They're not as far gone as the ones Kieran is bringing back, but you're seeing you essentially go up, and while another soldier is holding a guy down, trying to put pressure on a wound that happened from the shrapnel of the lodestone cannon. You help bandage up, suture, clean up the wound. You do so for a few others. You find one, and you do have to, if you want, you can. One guy needs his leg amputated if you want to get it on that. It is completely frozen. From it, probably you could use your hammer just to kind of shatter it, probably.
Oh. We don't have to RP that, but sure,
No.
I'll help.
Okay. All right. You manage to help, and you save more lives that would have died without you and Kieran, which helps boost the morale of the line. As people start to clean up those who do not see another day of this war. And put out any fires remaining. It's a mundane way, too, as they all go into autopilot as they begin cleaning up the line.
After Wiswick does his little celebration, I think he's going to come up to Cal and Clay and just
Cal walked away from Clay, so Clay would be alone right now.
Okay, I'll go up to Clay then.
All right. You see he's kind of getting himself cleaned up. You sense he's a little, not embarrassed, but unhappy that he was not in the thick of the fight. As you see, kind of is brushing himself off as if he was in the fight, and kind of he's not pretending he was in the fight, but he seems slightly uncomfortable as he's kind of putzing around trying to help where he can in his very nice noble clothes.
Wiswick will just come up to him and just say, "Hey, I don't know if we were properly introduced. I'm the 5th member of the squad." Oh God. Hello?
All right. Can you
Did
not
we
hear us?
freeze for you, Clay?
There he goes.
Oh, you got a quick
can you hear us?
Luigi in there. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
I thought you forgot the name of our group, and I was.
I did too, and I was like.
I said I'm the 5th member of our
right.
little. Band
you see he kind of looks down. Yes. What was your name? We did not get the pleasure to meet. You arrived when the attack happened.
Yeah, Wiswick, Bilgru, Farlight, Yellen, Jedry, Pedry, Netherrock, at your service.
I'm not gonna do it, but he repeats your name right back to you. Pleasure to meet you.
Oh, Wiswick, Bilgru, Farlight, Yellen,
Wiswick,
Jedry,
Bilger, Netherrock. But you're impressed because only really Zverev Neblin have been able to do that with you before, and it's a pleasure. I suppose you're from the northern reaches of the Underdark.
Very astute. Did the skin complexion give it away, or was it the giant buddy I got over here?
Well, when I saw the construct, I at first thought it might have been an enemy, but no, it's a very impressive feat of magic, and dare I say, turned the tides of this battle. These
Not for
soldiers are
sale,
lucky you were here.
unfortunately.
These soldiers are lucky you were here.
I try my best. My friend Cal has been with this army for a while, but this is my first time being a part of this place. I was wondering if you could give me some maybe objective perception about this war. Like, are you a soldier as well?
Well, the politicians of the Gwyn Empire would like to say I was a soldier. But I prefer to consider myself still suitable for conflict. I have seen war, and I have fought before. Nothing like this, though similar. The objectives of this war are murkier than those of the past.
As I feared. Well,
Of course, Enduring Independence has been a multi-generational movement. And the Gwyn, they're usually pacifists. We are usually pacifists in the Empire. So, a swift move to this scale of war is frightening, to say the least.
if you're, it sounds like you're not in much support of this war either.
I am in support of protecting the innocent, but I am not in support of conquest.
Admirable. What's your specialty, buddy? You like magic? You like shooting things? I see you got a sword. Any good with that bad boy?
Just give me a quick persuasion roll.
I think I broke Alex.
No, I was trying not to cough. I had water down the wrong pipe while you were RPing.
What am I rolling? Perception?
Persuasion.
Persuasion. Okay, that's just as bad. Solid 9.
Okay. You see, he does draw his sword out, and you would notice it is has the what is the name? It's a leaf blade. That's what it is. Leaf blade sword.
Like
It
Sting.
is very finely crafted. It is, although the blade itself is functional, there's no extra frou-frou on the blade. It is Gwyn design in that sense. Although the hilt is distinctly not Gwyn design, likely more Quintarchy design. He sort of looks at the blade and he doesn't really tell you anything beyond, oh, well, I certainly know how to swing this. Sticking with the pointy end, as they say.
I'm not good with the things myself, but from what I have heard from my compatriots, it's a little bit more complicated than that. Cal's a great teacher if you want him to teach you, just, go through the ropes.
I'm uninterested in a mentor at this time. Give me a quick insight check, Wiswick.
Okay. Eh, 7.
All right. You don't notice you don't notice anything. He sheathes the weapon, and sort of gives you a quick bow, little nod with his hand. Says, "Well," he repeats your full name. It was a pleasure
Wiswick,
meeting you.
Bilgru, Farlight, Yellen, Gentry, Petri, Netherrock.
I have to memorize that. I look forward to our journey together south. Perhaps we'll learn more about each other. And who knows, perhaps I will learn a few things from your friend, Lieutenant Cal, over there.
Yeah, maybe I just didn't get the whole story. It was a pleasure to meet you, don't get me wrong. No offense to you at all, but why are you going south again, and why is Cal going with you?
Inquisitive type, it appears. Well, I suppose I didn't introduce myself properly. My name is Governor Oriel Clay. I was supposed to go to Vermilcia on a diplomatic mission, and I may have snuck off to join the fight. Your companion has been charged with ensuring I do what I'm told.
Well, that sounds boring.
It is quite boring.
It sounds like you should just, like, get out of here or something. I'll tell Cal that you just went off. I didn't see which way you went.
That's another rock. That's okay. I think I will comply with my orders for now. Plus,
Alright,
you are all
yourself.
an interesting group, and I'm excited to travel with you.
Yeah, maybe we could talk more about why you know of my people on our travels. You know, we're kind of. It seems like everybody else is busy. We should probably get to, looking like we're busy.
Yeah, he was already like starting to walk away from you. He's very much doing the when you're talking with someone and you slowly kind of circle them and you kind of like starting to back away and you're just like, I'm trying to leave this conversation. As he turns away from you. Is there anything anyone else would like to do before you get back together and start setting off?
No. Yes. I go back to Rocco. And I go,
Rocco.
"Oh, Rocco, I knew you would not leave my side."
Rocco responds happily.
So
He returned with his rider. Yes, Timber.
we have 3 horses or 4 horses,
Four
including Rocco. Oh,
Yes.
sorry, Rocco.
And a big rock guy.
And
A big rock.
and a big rock. Okay, got it.
Wiswick can ride.
Got it. What's its speed?
It's not as fast, but it'll be fine. It's a little slower than the horses, but yes. So you have 4 horses, 1 for Cal, 1 for Clay. There's a spare horse, and then you have Rocco. All right, so you are preparing to leave.
Sí, señor.
Okay.
Cal makes sure the governor is mounted up and knows where his shit is
Yes,
and has the right gear, etc.
easy enough to do. He does look back at you, Cal, and sort of you can tell he's the sort to be crack wise when things are tense. And Lieutenant Stormrain, what road are we taking this evening?
The only road, Governor. The southern one.
The main road cuts through the eastern vale of Endurus, I am in the process of updating the map, and I will send it your way. But there is two kind of vales in the northern reaches, the eastern and western vale. The eastern is the one that has the actual main road. The western is more countryside. Because the north of Endurus is very rocky, that separates the rest of the Quintarchy and Endurus. So you're heading into the kind of river valley.
Yeah. We'd be taking the eastern road then, because Cal
Excellent.
wants to dump this guy post haste. I'm not in the mood for a babysitting mission.
Okay. The road south to Vermilcia will take some time. It is a couple-week journey to get all the way down there. Roughly somewhere between 2 and 3 weeks. And you set off. I assume you're going to stay pretty much on the road.
I imagine, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Are you a wolf, Timber, so I can have the last horse?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now I'm gonna steal it so you can walk.
So I can... Cool.
Just go on, Wiswick's golem. He's got
Yeah.
2 arms.
Wiswick
not
on the way
Wiswick's
out
size.
of camp is just asking just random people as he walks by where they give out the medals.
And they all promptly ignore you as they continue with their tasks. But anyway, you begin heading out on the road through. The smoke stacks start to fade away behind you as you approach the the last fortified line of the this trench line. You pass through, and this is you see there's a lot of reserve soldiers housed here. This is also the most reinforced line. You actually see quickly built forts along this line. And as you move past it, you see inside there are several reserve soldiers in the same kind of fashion. There is significantly less death and destruction here. This line has been secure for long enough that anything that was reminiscent of that has been cleaned up. From this position, you can see just barely on your right, as you're heading south, the ruined city of Tasaka. You pretty much just see half-destroyed towers, walls that are completely collapsed, no lights. There's maybe a few torchlights of an occupying force, but what was once a vibrant city of Honduras is just a shadowy shell now. Majority of its refugees sent southward to the villages and cities to the south. You travel for a majority of the late afternoon, somewhat quietly as you're all still somewhat processing the fight that happened as well as the scene you've all seen. Cal, you're still kind of adjusting to the fact that these people are back with you. You all are kind of adjusting to the fact that you just experienced war for reals. But you eventually, on this road, find a place to rest for the evening. You do pass some abandoned homes and abandoned little hamlets where it seems like most people have left these areas to avoid the war, being this close to the front line. Occasionally, you'll see in the distance the lights of a farmhouse where some stubborn farmer refuses to leave their property. But for the most part, this area is settled. Cal, you would notice some burnt out fields, which were likely some of the first attacks during the war when the Quintarchy was burning tillage, fresh new tillage that was part of the Duke's grand construction to try to create independence from Tressix's food line. So the Quintarchy burnt out a lot of these farms here. So you all would be passing freshly ruined farmhouses and salted and burnt farms. But eventually, if you'd like, you can either just find a side of the road or some tree cover or one of these old farmhouses.
Tree cover, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll serve.
Easy enough. You don't have any cart or anything. You just got horses, so you can go off-road, find a cluster of trees that can provide you some cover, and you can settle down for the evening. It's pretty early because you're pretty tired from the fight, so I'd say it's around it's approaching 8 o'clock. The sun has completely set at this point, and it is dark out. But it's a fairly clear sky, so there's vibrant stars, and you can see a few of the moons in the sky. Not the one true moon, Vermilcia, but
No, of course not. That's on my staff.
some of the lesser moons.
As we're
Sorry, real quick, how many moons are in the sky of Aradun
Depends on the time of year.
this time of year?
Yeah, thank you. Good call. I would say there are at least that are recognizable as like moons, like you would imagine in our,
Moon.
that's not just sort of a very small dot in the distance. I'd say there's at least 2 in the sky right now. There are, I believe, 19 known moons that share Vero as a planet. But they're different times of year that are visible in the sky.
Sure.
Okay, so Cal would get off his horse and uncinch the saddle and put it down to the ground. And I would turn around and I would go, any volunteers for first watch?
I'll take first watch.
Excellent.
I'll go after you, Timber.
I think I'd be happy to take this first watch with you. Timber, is it?
That is correct.
Actually, his real name.
It's fine, Kieran.
Real name.
It's Timber. It's fine. It's easy.
Uh,
I respect that. I'll call you Timber.
I'll nod to Timber then and go, wake me for a second then along with Scarlet. And I would sit down and I would loosen my armor and I would lean my head up against the saddle and I would be asleep.
Did you see that? Cal just immediately went to sleep. I don't think I've ever. And Kieran walks over to him in disbelief almost, and waves his hand in front of his face and goes to poke him, and then is like, "No, I'm not gonna."
I advise you don't disturb him. Soldier's discipline can be quite the reaction if you disturb it.
I always remember him having difficulty falling asleep, especially after such a exciting escapade as that. Kieran takes a seat across the fire from Cal and is just looking at him with a almost quizzical look in his eye.
Clay is watching you, Kieran, as you say these few things, and you see he pulls out a small flask and opens it up and takes a sip of it. He, unknowing of your preferences, he hands it over towards you, Kieran.
Kieran accepts it to be polite and then goes to raise it to his lips.
It is wine.
Oh, because I was going to say he sniffs it. And when he recognizes that, how do I want to put this? That better smell of a subtle wine as opposed to the hard liquors that his companions tend to keep with them. He'll take a small swig, and he shakes his head a little and hands it back. He's like, "Thank you. I'm sorry we haven't been properly introduced. I know the Arcos had briefly, but I am Kieran Isilistana, friend of Keth Stormrings."
Kieran Isilistana. What is your last name?
Isilistana.
Isilistana. I said it properly in my head, and then I started saying it, and I was like, it's not going to happen.
Tongue
Isilistana.
twister.
Kieran Isilistana. Very far from the north. But happy to have you here. You all seem quite capable out there.
Oh yes, well we're and like Huron leans back a little, like stretches, and he's like, we're kind of champions of a goddess. I don't know if you've ever heard of her. Yvania?
Oh, well, I surmised as much. The lunar iconography littering your persons.
Huron thumbs the crescent moon earrings that he has.
Very interesting faith, from what I've read. From a very interesting land. Tell me, are you a seer or are you a shepherd?
A seer? No. My family were one of the first of the shepherds to tend to the flock of Ilyvania after our people's disaster with the lay sanctums.
Yes, I've read that history.
A history your allies in the south, the Gwyn, might do well to remember.
Oh, well, have you seen the bright shores in the city of Byzantium?
I must admit I haven't, though I am extremely curious.
Well, the Gwyn would never be so reckless. Their ancestors, of course, were equally as reckless as yours. And the southern roots of the mountains in Honduras are littered with places no one goes because of the mistakes of the past. But I assure you, from what I've seen, the Telemary Sea and Byzantium, no such recklessness exists in this society.
Oh, that's good to hear then. I always fear what some of the younger races of our continent decide to do with these untapped powers.
Oh yes, the Gwyn are... Their current structure is young, but they're as old as you.
True, and that's what I allude to. When you forget the mistakes of the past, you're so ever ready to duplicate them in the present.
Wise words, cleric Ilyvania. Respect for the gods is important.
Of course.
Give me a quick insight check.
Uh, 21.
21, good. You would notice clanging against some chainmail underneath his finer clothing is a medallion. You can't quite ping what god it is, but it is similar to Everflame, except this iconography is typically the Everflame is a 7-pointed star engulfed in flame. This is flame engulfing a skull that has the 7-pointed star on its forehead.
Seeing the iconography, does that mean anything to Kiran? The skull and the flame of the 7-pointed star?
I'll say give me a quick intelligence skill of your choice to see if you can recall anything from your research back in Caerdolin.
We're going to do religion, because that
Perfect.
makes sense. And we got a 25.
25, okay. Excellent. That's really good.
Really? Is that really good?
Yeah, it's a good roll. You would recall, because you did do some time researching the Everflame, the history of the Everflame.
Right.
You know that the Everflame originated, or at least the Church of the Everflame originated in Honduras. The Everflame is worshipped continentally. There is a sect of Everflame worshippers in the Gwyn Empire. They call themselves the sect of Water and Fire. And their iconography is the flaming skull with the 7-pointed star in it. They view the Everflame as a death and rebirth god. Sort of it's a god of death. They view her as a god of death. Sort of the balance of life and death. It's their sort of understanding. Their main doctrine, since you got a 25, covers what they call kind of the blessings of blood and fire, and that mortals and living creatures are a combination of fire and water, sort of in a spiritual way. They believe this, but also in a physical way. And they're active devotees, those who would be considered themselves paladins or clerics. They incorporate a type of blood magic in their holy works.
Seeing the medallion, Huron looks away. It looks into the fire for a moment, and then looks back, meeting the eyes of the governor, and goes, gesturing to his medallion. Are you a man of faith yourself, Governor?
Well, you'd be foolish not to be in this world.
Very true.
Though it's important to not be too... It's important to manage expectations when it comes to the gods. But yes, I have studied many years in the Empire under many great scholars. It's been truly a beautiful experience. But in the Empire, we venerate all gods.
In which empire, exactly?
The Gwyn Empire.
I was going to say, if you're speaking of the Oxlandish Empire, I fear they only have, how did they put it? One true god.
It is a short-sighted understanding of her grace. Foolish. Any to hold a single deity as prime does not understand the world.
I agree wholeheartedly, Governor. The divine work in mysterious ways, and their connections are more minute than we mortals will ever dare to imagine.
Well, especially considering that you seem connected more than others to your patron deity. The gods are more understandable than many mortals will give credence to once you expand your mind.
Of course, once you realize that they too know the feeling of mortality.
He sort of laughs at that and takes a swig of the wine. Yes. He proved it, I guess. The Wayward One. They are mortal too.
Huron starts to recline and settle into a more comfortable position, as he's not going into a trance, but he's trying to make like he's going to sleep, as he closes his eyes and goes, yes, sometimes I feel my life was easier, simpler, when I believed in the all infallibility of the divinity.
There is bliss in not knowing.
Ignorance is bliss.
Get some sleep.
You too, Governor. As Curon assumes his position and, eyes closed, will try to sense what the governor's, if he tends to do anything, any, not super suspicious, but just trying to see if there's anything going on.
You would see him immediately walk over to Timber to join him in his watch, as he promised to do the first watch with Timber.
After that, Curon would enter a trance to sleep.
Timber, the governor, would approach you and sort of sit next to you and slap the flask of wine into your chest and say, "You, old boy, look like you could use this."
I appreciate that. I have this, and I hold up the flask. I was like, this is more of my
What you've got there?
It's some hard liquor. It's pretty tasteless, actually. It doesn't really have much flavor. I don't know. It's magical. Here, it's endless.
Oh, I'll try some if you'll try some of my wine. I promise you'll enjoy it. It's from the southern reaches of Honduras.
I take a sniff to make sure there's no substances.
Just give me a quick perception check.
Yeah, sure.
Or investigation if you want.
I would prefer perception. That's a 26.
It's delightful. It smells delightful.
Okay, all right. I'll take a sip.
It's a little light for you, but it's good. It tastes like grape juice to you because you've burnt your palate with all this whiskey.
Yeah. This is quite tasty. You should savor this. As he takes another sip after that, like a more hefty sip.
Don't worry, it is also endless.
Oh, is it now? And Timber's like,
Yeah, absolutely. It's like it's like a round traveling jug of wine, essentially, with a cork on the top. Timber, do you still have those prayer beads on you?
I do.
Are they visible?
They should be.
Okay. I noticed this earlier. Timber, correct? Timber with another name that's not important.
Yeah, that is correct.
Yeah, I suppose we all have different names. I noticed your prayer beads.
Are you a follower of the Emperor Flame as well?
I, from time to time, do the bidding of Her Grace. But I don't know where you're from, so I do not know what sort of worshipper you are, if you are, at all. Burnt beads are rare. So when you see them, the wizened of us know to expect a Charlotte.
How much work or how faithful are you to the Everflame?
I'm as faithful as her gifts allow me to be.
How often do you pray? How often do you do things for her and that are selfless rather than selfish?
I pray at least once a day, every morning. More if I'm in times of need and dire straits. As far as her works, I do not pretend to hear voices in my head or see omens. I do her works based on my faith and tenets and my oath. And indeed, at least I hope, they're selfless. And I hope even more than selfless. I hope they're joyful.
There are different types of deeds. What deeds or actions have you taken?
I can tell you've spent some time in Quintarchy.
That I have.
And as you can tell, I'm sure I am of Oxlan origin. And I understand your hesitancy to the Everflame, given the power hunger, the church there.
Yes.
But you must see any sort of institution that is held prime above others in their society will inevitably create a hegemonic disorder. And thankfully, the Gwyn Empire does not have that problem.
So you do not see the Everflame as the one true god, or do you?
I am not a manipulated fool. I'm simply reasonable. Though I have great faith or grace, I would never deny the power of other deities or their worshippers. No masquerade in their holy relics. As he looks at your beads.
Tell me, me having these beads, what thoughts run through your head about me?
Well, it depends on your actions. I sense no. I do not feel her. So, you're doing one of a few things. If I'm placing your accent correctly, you are from the settlements outside the ruination. Your ancestors migrants from the south through Endurus.
Can confirm.
I sure if you are from the small settlements there, you are familiar with those who masquerade as the burnt of her grace. Magic tricks, prestidigitation, fires, fire dancing, false blood magic to tell fortunes, all for coin. So you're either a swindler or you're hiding.
And how exactly can you tell that I have no faith of her grace?
Let's just say I have a sense for these things. He'll kind of lean back and get comfortable as he takes another swig of the wine.
Can I get a read on him? In terms of
Yeah.
what he's after? Is he trying to just find out if I'm a swindler, or if he if he's trying to be like I'm having a hard time to describe what I'm looking for. Just like his overall goal for identifying that I may or may not be. Yeah.
Yeah, give me an insight check.
Fuck. It was on an 18 and rolled. It's a 5.
It's hard to tell. He's somewhat of an enigmatic character so far. You all have encountered a lot of interesting people out there, people who've asked you all questions. He's kind of the first person who's immediately taken an interest in each of you individually so far, at least you and Curon. There's like a hair, just a hair of, he reminds you of Kinsley a little bit when you first met him, in the sense of his curiosity for each of you. But it's hard to tell. You can't tell if that's a noble quality, like just educated man, or if he's trying to hide something, or if he's really trying to figure something out about you, or if he's just simply like, are you a swindler or not? Are you a charlatan? But you don't really pinpoint an exact answer.
So let's say I am a swindler, or hiding something, or completely faithful. I will ask again. For those who do have these burnt beads, what do you want? What do you expect of them?
He's kind of stretched out and
down here in Oxford. Sorry.
No, all good. He's kind of stretched out, leaning back at this point. It's all good. He's just leaning back now and staring up at the sky. He's not like sleeping or anything. He's just staring up at the stars. I expect nothing of them. Though, you would be the first that I've met who is not a swindler.
So statistically, based on how many of those you've seen with these beads, majority of them are swindlers.
Of course. Why else would you masquerade with some chosen holy relic just to perform magic tricks in the street? Fake healings. False blood magic.
Blood magic?
Of course. You
Um,
won't see it very much in the Quintarchy because this church is private, hidden away. At least that side of it.
how much would I know of both Gwyn versus Oxlandish worshipping of the
Give me either a history check or a religion check.
They're both crap. Yeah, it's a nice 3.
You thought they were the same.
All right, I'm gonna continue now this conversation. Blood magic.
Oh, well, of course. Those who... I'm certain you're familiar with the borrowed gifts of clerics and knights and paladins and those sort of things. Well, Her Grace often gives blood magics to her servants, or those who are faithful enough.
So you're telling me that... So it's either that all of her magic is blood magic, or she gives divine blessings of two different kind to these followers? Or are they all blood magic? I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not an actual follower.
You did not need to tell me that.
Yeah.
I got that pretty quickly, old boy. But it is a brilliant question, though. Two sects, one god, different magic. Now, Quintarchy, you see fire, all manner of fire, all over the place. Fire iconography, burnt beads, red robes. Let you in on a little secret.
His ear perks up a little bit.
As you may have noticed in your travels, it's a hell of a lot easier to fake fire magic. It's a hell of a lot easier to learn a few quick spells. Blood magic, manipulation of life force, to give or take. That is divine.
Never thought.
It's like in the way he says divine, makes you think of Kinsley. It might just be the Oxland accent. But I would never pretend to understand the will of the gods.
We should all not. He looks over at Kieran like.
Kieran's eyes open slightly as
I have not thought about that. It's that, but you bring up a good point. I have used these beads, or sought to use these beads, to gather more information or access to areas in the Quintarchy, as it's a highly regarded faith. So,
You're not wrong. That's an intelligent move. The Quintarchy has a certain zealotry for their god. You won't find that sort of thing in the Empire.
and how I mentioned, I asked before if you view the Everflame as the one true god. That is how they view her up there.
Well, I remember my education in my youth. I was not born in the Gwyn Empire. I was born in Oxland.
Mm.
I remember learning that through her light and grace, we are protected. And there's no greater light than the Everflame. But at the end of our days, the end of their days, I suppose, too, faith only matters as much as it does good works for those who need it. Because I will never pretend the Everflame cares about me. To garner the attention of a god is extraordinary.
He looks over at Kieran when he says this. Yeah.
They grant their gifts to mortals, but to truly garner the affections of a being so beyond us, so vast, that they forget we even exist.
And to be honest, I don't blame them.
I don't either. It's an ugly mess down here.
It is. Who would want to unravel it?
He passes back the bottle to you. Well, old boy, I believe we should be keeping an eye out.
That we should. Let me take another swig of that.
And the conversation shifts to small, kind of more lighthearted discussion. He's quite a charming man.
Well, Rain is dead, so...
Move the kids to the Good Empire. Marry a governor. But your watch passes with little to no issue.
Okay.
As Scarlet, you would wake up.
And I would wake up Cal, too.
Cal wakes up immediately. Almost as if it doesn't seem like he was been sleeping, you know? Like there's no grogginess.
Yeah.
It's just like boom, all right, here. I would nod my thanks to Timber as I'm buckling on my crap.
Timber
Scarlet is very groggy. Opposite.
Timber is off put once again, based off of Kieran's comment earlier on Cal's abruptness of like being able to just switch back and forth.
Yeah.
He
It
just
is abrupt. It is
yeah.
like it's actively like what? That was
Yeah.
bizarre.
Yeah.
So he's very off put, but he does not comment on it at this moment.
Yeah. Any movement?
No, Cal.
Thank you. Well done.
Nothing stirs in the night, though. Lieutenant Stormrain, certain you're aware enough to keep an eye out for loyalists.
Of course, sir.
Timber interrupts this conversation with a nice wine burp.
Yes. And if the cold is too much for either of you here, you can
There you go.
take pots. And he hands you the small wine jug.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Scarlet, you can have my...
Timber's drunk.
It was the same sip
Thank you,
that he
Timber.
did for that soldier, which
Yeah.
is like this is not really a sip of alcohol. It's just get some wine on my tongue, and like that's all I do.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's fuck all cold out here, so stay warm.
That it is. Do you have enough? You should have the blankets and things I left on your horse. Yes.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Good night to you.
And Cal and Scarlet, you are alone, and it is your watch. If you'd like to make perception checks, you may.
I would. I also would travel outside the ring of light
Yes.
and into
There
the wood
is-
line.
Yeah, there is a small campfire, so you absolutely would
Yeah.
want to move out.
I can't use this goddamn dice. Okay. Well, it's a 7.
Yeah, I also got oh no, that was yours. I got a 13.
Well, it's kind of fitting because you guys can't see shit. Well, Cal, you can see a little bit better with your goggles.
I
put
have dark vision.
Yeah, and dark vision is still shit during the long dark. You can see the stars, and you can hear some things. It's pretty fucking quiet though, because it is the long dark. So any insect noise is gone. You occasionally hear some crunching of snow, but it's light enough that you assume it's an animal of some sorts, and you can see evidence of it since you are away from the fire. So the animals are somewhat visible. You get like very that vision you get when you're finally your eyes adjust to the dark, and it's like shapes really.
Mm-hmm.
But as the two of you kind of encircle
Actually,
the
I
camp,
have dark vision in real life, Sean, so I can see everything. But that's neither here nor there.
Well, that's great for you. But as you're encircling the camp, things seem all quiet. Is there anything else you'd like to do during your break?
I want to try and talk to you. I don't know how you stand this cold, Cal. Do you have any tricks or anything?
flex every muscle in your body, starting from your toes and work all the way up. Keeps you warm and it keeps your legs from cramping.
Sounds like something Timber would know.
It helps you stay on your feet through a long watch.
I imagine it does.
Hmm.
How are you? That's kind of like just like word vomit.
I'm well. Passing, I'd say. Passing well.
Are you really?
Yes. Yourself?
Also passing well.
Cal takes his cigarette case out. Which I didn't
primitive
think it was gonna
spend.
have, but I really want one, you know?
I'll allow it.
Thank
I'll-
you.
I'll pinch.
Just a little brass, like.
Yeah, and I
Fold
imagine
open
you also
like-
have a pouch of tobacco and a sheet
Yeah,
of
it's the
papers.
stuff to make more.
I pinch my fingers together and a little flame erupts for your lighter.
Thank you.
Cal, I'll say you have enough tobacco right now for 25 hand-rolled cigarettes, and you have 4 rolled right now, because I do want to see you buy tobacco.
Dope. All right, cool. I'll start tracking that somewhere. I'll figure that out later.
Cal's like, I only have 30 silver. I'm not buying food. I need tobacco.
Now you stayed in Cardolan the whole time, right?
Well, we started in Kodolan and then Wiswick and I traveled to go find the heart of his golem, as you can see.
That thing was impressive.
Yes, quite.
You look
And
over, and the golem is like hovering over Wiswick, sleeping in his sleeping bag.
That thing is impressive.
We also made a stop by my hometown.
Oh,
Yeah, there was nothing there. It was quiet and just wanted to see it one more time.
Cal's just looking around, on watch, doing watch stuff.
And I'm still gonna just keep trying to engage you in conversation. So, what have you been doing? How's this been?
I think Cal just kind of stares at her, unblinking for 2-3 seconds. You know, not in like I'm not angry. There's no
Yeah,
real expression
yeah,
on my face. Just
Yeah. We don't have to talk about it if you don't want to. I'm sorry.
no, I've been here fighting. I just didn't quite understand the question.
Just, I don't know. It's been a while since we've seen each other.
Suppose it has. Cal, searching for something to say. He's kind of just like, yeah. So, what you all caught up in what Drift March, right?
Imagine said.
Hmm.
Right back where we first met, actually.
Oh, interesting. They've moved back in there yet?
No. No, it was very, very quiet.
See, you have a new bit of jewelry there. He says. I say, pointing to her snake bracelet.
My bracelet. I do. It was a birthday gift from Wiswick.
Oh, lovely.
Yes. I'm not quite used to using it yet, as you probably saw, but
Nearly took my ear off.
I apologize. I'll
It's
get
fine.
better.
I understand.
It does make for a rather... I don't know, a rather warm companion, and I will summon Lily, just so she's there.
Sheds a small bright light in the vicinity, and you can feel the warmth just standing next to Scarlet off of it. His little slithering tongue, magma tongue comes out.
Cal instinctively moves to like cover the thing with his body because it's light. Not in like I'm not smothering it. I'm just immediately like take up space, block the light. You know what I mean?
Sorry. It's dreadfully cold. I don't like it, so keeps me warm.
I flick the remainder of my cigarette away, having already finished it. Actually, I wouldn't do that now that I realize that I would just drop it at my feet and squish it. Douse it, one might say. Yes, well, as we head south, it should get a little warmer, though with the gloaming coming on, it will, Wait, no, the other one. Shit, the glooming?
No, it's the gloaming, yeah.
All right, got
It's
it.
in 2 days it'll officially be fully eclipsed gloaming.
Got it. With the gloaming coming on, nowhere will be particularly warm, but will be a bit nice, at least till we get too far south if you do continue on, once we get up into the mountains.
That's good.
Cal's like, waits there for a second,
Yeah.
gives Scarlet an opportunity to say anything else, and goes, and then like walks off into the darkness to get a different position, so they're spread out along the line.
Yeah, Cal, you would see you would have heard at the end of that conversation that the horses did get spooked a little bit.
I would go. I would 100% go check that out right now.
Yeah. So as you approach, you can see Rocco. Is kind of like you immediately come up and he's kind of like comes up on his hind legs and then comes down. As you can see, about 40 feet away from him is a something prowling. Like you could just sort of see the sort of the stripe on the back of something low in the snow. And it's just darker than the snow.
I would move so there is a tree in between me and the campfire, so I am basically in the shade that it would cast.
Do I see or hear this?
You would have heard the horses, and I'm assuming you probably would have followed Cal over.
Mm-hmm.
If you both like to give me perception checks.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. These fucking 11 again.
22.
22.
Sean, the golem has an 8-hour duration. I don't know if it's active or not at the moment.
The golem would be shut down right now. Because this would be, at this point, with the second watch, it would be more than 8 hours later. Scarlet, you would be able to see there is some kind of large cat. Some kind of big cat breed that is prowling towards the horses. You would also see some other splotches in the distance. And then you would suddenly hear some, not horse hooves, but hooves beating into the snow. As before you could really do anything, you see the cat kind of starts to come up to move closer to the horses. And almost as if out of the dark, you would see this massive creature, probably 8 feet tall, 4-legged, massive horns that kind of come up in front, almost like shovels, and then there are spikes on him as it rams into this cat. And the horns you see puncture it. This is all very loud, so a lot of you probably might wake up. As you would hear this cat screech in pain as this Enduran Auric has gored this cat. He's a massive owl, essentially, that has massive horns and is much bigger than what you'd imagine a cow is. It's like a long horn, just has shovel-like antlers or horns. Notoriously good-natured creatures in northern Honduras that protect other creatures from predators.
So I assume this is loud enough that I would have seen this.
Oh yeah, at this point it's very visible.
Does it seem like it has the big cat in hand, or does it look like it needs some help?
Oh no, the cat is obliterated.
Okay.
Like, the cat's like bones are shattered. It essentially is like just shaking its head as it's like trying to get the cat off its antlers, and its head is like weighted down by it, and it's just and you can see like other Endurant Oryx all like come
The wild
trampling
Oryx
over.
herds. Oryx
Yeah.
herd.
I'm
come
holding
come
the.
come to check on their brethren who's just attacked this big cat, and you can kind of see one just kind of like comes up to you almost, pretty close. You can see the blood glistening off of the moonlight on its horns. It's just-
I would put a hand across Scarlet, as if a mother almost in a car accident with her child. You know what I'm
Oh.
talking about.
The mom arm.
Yeah. And I would give the traditional Unduran sign of thanks and appreciation to the Oryx, which
I've
I
also
should
decided
probably
in this
come up with
moment that
right
I've also decided in this moment that the Enduran Oryx is like the national animal of
straight up,
Honduras.
100%. Which I think is the horn symbol, except like across the chest and with like a head nod.
Yeah, and they're very intelligent. So you see it comes very close to you, and even knowing that they're good natured, it's very intimidating.
It's gigantic.
It's massive, and it kind of like comes up and it's very close to you, and it's sniffing you. You can like smell its horrible breath, and it's that sort of thing where it's sort of and you
Cow.
some cow snot
Yeah,
shoots
stay
onto
in
your
it.
armor.
My head is knotted and I got the horns across the chest.
Yeah, and because you stand your ground, you see it bows its head and returns to its herd.
Is everything alright?
I don't know.
All set here, thank you. We're good.
Yeah, anyone who wakes up would
Is
see
there a
like
pig over there?
like there's like now that you can kind of see like a little bit in the dark, like there's probably like 100 or so of these oryx in this herd as they start to thunder away.
Oh.
Wiswick rolls over.
Yeah, Timber's gonna wait for the sound to dissipate and then kick his legs back up.
What was that? I've never seen a creature like that before.
That was an oryx of the Enduran kind. They're
That clarifies nothing.
well, mythologically perhaps the protectors of the nation. Though, as you can see, they are generally kind to us, to mortals. I was going to say humans, but can't.
I don't ever think I've seen a creature that is kind to mortals. That was interesting.
They're good. We don't hunt them, they don't hunt us, and we work together, I suppose, in a loose sort of way.
It's
Understood.
100% illegal to kill an oryx in Honduras. Punishable by death. By the oryx. The oryx kills you.
Yeah. It's a CR-18 monster. It's fucking-
Yeah, they're very strong.
I made
After that kind of spectacle, perhaps because of their thunderous patrol around this area, your watch goes quietly as Kiran awakens, presumably for his last watch, to take the last watch.
Yeah, Cal would. Go ahead. Sorry, Shannon.
That's okay. I'd just like to do a little bit of calligraphy doodling before I go back to sleep.
Absolutely.
Cal would have returned, obviously, when it was time for Kieran to take over. Go. No movement, or at least no enemy movement in the night. We did have some wildlife nearby. A herd of oryx came through and actually rescued us from a mountain lion. And but we should be relatively clear. Cal, once again, same thing. Helmet off, unbuckles the armor, just loosens it. Head hits the saddle, and he's out.
I look at Kieran. I tried conversation, but it was halting.
I fear the man we once knew is still in there, but he's thrown up a shield of sorts. He always had that bit of a facade, especially when discussing his parents. back in Stormrain.
Maybe the further away from the war we are, the more we'll see of him.
Tales I've heard tell of old soldiers. I fear the effect will be lasting. But through the grace of the gods, anything is possible.
And she'll smile at that and just kind of like give your hand a squeeze and then just go sit down for a little bit before she falls back asleep.
Kieran is going to hang out for a little bit, and then Steps of the Brave. He's gonna he's not gonna stoke the fire, to let it dim down, and then he's going to Steps of the Brave, up, to do his perception check for watch before coming back down.
All right, go ahead and give me a perception check with advantage due to the height.
I got 2 3s.
No.
I got 2. Well, it's still a 16, so like.
Okay. You would see off in the distance the herd of oryx, sort of settling over there. It's interesting. This is the furthest south you've ever been in your life. And to see it during the gloaming is almost a shame, because you don't get to experience it in its full majesty. But the mountains around here are titanic in how tall they are, and the central kind of like you're in a pretty tight valley. There are forests at the base of the mountains, but this land was heavily infrastructured in recent years. So what you're really resting in is a small patch of forest a young patch of forest that grew out of an abandoned farm, because this whole region, you can kind of tell, is nature reclaimed tillage that has become kind of a grassland. You could almost imagine once the farms were abandoned, these oryx had a place to play in retaming this land. But your watch goes quietly. You see nothing of danger. The only thing out of the ordinary is the fact that Clay wakes up only 2 hours into your watch. And you see him start to begin his morning routines. He looks at you as live long enough with elves and you take on their schedule.
I can't imagine you're fully rested, though. Trance ability makes the short rest much easier.
I find the time to rest throughout the day. Besides, it's better to go about my morning routines.
Of course, they say the early worm catches the... Nope. The early bird catches the worm. Yes, that's the common saying that I've been told.
Yes, and I've heard it's an old Oxlandish response. The second mouse gets the cheese.
What's this about mice?
No matter. There's a stream nearby that I saw. I'm going to go collect some water. Would you like some?
Of course, yes. Some fresh water would do us all good.
And you watch his morning routine, and it is pretty extensive, like grooming, like keeping himself clean. He shaves. He has meticulous combs. It's very like what you hear about like Vikings and the way they were meticulously kept themselves clean. But it's like a devotion almost in the way he's doing it. And then you would find as the sun starts to creep up and the first hints of the dark star appear, after he's kind of like somewhat bathed himself, he's just sort of washed his chest. he immediately steps away from the camp and enters into a meditative prayer. You see he takes off his necklace. You see he takes out his sword and lays it in front of himself. You see he takes out a few other little iconographic things. You see him light a small candle that looks like it's on its very last legs. And begin immediately bow towards the rising sun and begins praying. The most notable thing, since he does so kind of in this morning routine state, he has no shirt on, and you notice that half of his torso on the left side, or sorry, right side, is covered in scarred burn marks. Like his upper arm, the entire upper arm, the entire left portion of his chest, licking over to the right or to the left, and down the abdomen, is entirely covered in burn scars.
I think Wiswick wakes up early because he didn't take a watch, and he just kind of moseys over to Curon, and he says, "You know, Snurfneblins say the dirtiest mole gets the diamond."
But he would stay in these prayers for quite a while. Like the rest of you would start waking up as he's doing this.
What's with him? He's doing some sort of ritual?
I imagine he's saying his morning prayers, which I should do the same. And just real quickly, with Wiswick beside him, Curon closes his eyes and raises a hand up in meditation and goes, "Through the dawn I am sustained, through the dusk I am protected, in their weavings I am set free." And he reaches a hand.
I was muted, but Timber would have like chimed in while he was praying.
And then he ruffles Wiswick's head and says, "We all have our morning rituals. Some stranger than others."
I'm gonna
Cal's
go
is
prepare my
apparently-
spells.
Cal's is apparently putting everything back on the horse to get it ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, this would be very early, like when you guys are first waking up. That
Mhm.
he's finishing these prayers. The rest of you, noticing this, and he's like somewhat far off, and you can see kind of just like the blood red of the sun scintillating over as this candle blows out. And Curon completes his own prayer, ruffling Wiswick's hair, and that's where we'll end tonight. All right, folks, those of you who stuck around with us a little later, thank you so much for joining us for episode 3. Some intensive combat in the first half and some contemplative RP in the second half. We will continue this journey next week at 7 p.m., the usual time. Other programming happening, of course, there is Relaxing in Paradise. That is this Thursday. At its typical time, and then the which is typically 8:30 Eastern Standard. The Tim and Shannon Power Hour, which is on Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have our next One Shot in Paradise, which is going to be on March 13th. Another lovely one shot done by our very own Stefan. And then there is the season 2 of The Scales Above premieres on Roll for Damage this Friday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which Shannon and I both play really fun characters in there. And then the Jasper's Game Day stream, which we are an ambassador affiliate with, is going to be this weekend, March 6th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with Shannon and myself playing in Mackenzie Desarmas' game. There's also plenty of awesome games throughout the week. Check them out, donate, support a great cause. We love Jasper's Game Day here at Paradise. But thank you so much for joining us tonight for this great session and hanging out in Paradise. Have a good week, and we hope to see you again.